Learned my love-struck best friend transmigrated into my period novel, about to be tormented by the male lead I created, to death. I charged right back in as their creator, to tear apart the scumbag and cheap woman, and rescue my best friend from her misery. Showed up at the Zhou house. Jiang Mingyue panicked, knocked a bowl onto my best friend, and shouted,
Liang Qingyin, call the police! Intruder broke in!
She grabbed my best friend, chest covered in hot soup, trembling with fear, and shielded her.
The master of this house is Director Zhou, Hai Cheng's pillar. She's the director's wife. Need anything? Go to her.
Seeing my best friend drenched, miserable and disheveled, I was furious. My best friend whispered,
I think this lady probably isn't a bad person.
My best friend and I transmigrated into the book together, but our storylines were different, and being a period novel, we couldn't video call. She never saw my face in the book. Jiang Mingyue shrieked,
Liang Qingyin? Showing off? Keep talking. When Xian's back, big trouble.
In the book, Jiang Mingyue and Zhou Xian were childhood sweethearts, and engaged. Zhou Xian was sent to the countryside, couldn't bear loneliness, and got together with someone else. Zhou Xian was disheartened. Only then did he get together with my best friend's character. Jiang Mingyue saw Zhou Xian thriving. She wanted to rekindle their old flame, but Zhou Xian rejected her. But now the plot has collapsed. I sat down, waved my bracelet at Jiang Mingyue, and feigned confusion. Didn't you say, this lady is the wife of Director Zhou? The way you're talking, you act more like the mistress of the house than she does. Jiang Mingyue thrust her belly out.
Some people are just holding a title in name only. Who is the one on Xian's heart? Can't you see?
I was burning with anger. Now, a mistress is more brazen than modern times. I steadied my best friend, took out the ointment I prepared, and was about to apply it. But my friend flinched back when she saw the ointment and knew I meant no harm. She ingratiatingly moved closer. My heart ached, eyes reddened. That carefree, always protective best friend, after 3 years with Zhou Xian, became habitually ingratiating. Seeing my best friend like this, Jiang Mingyue yanked her over.
What are you doing playing the good person in my house? Get lost or I'll call the police.
She turned and pinched my best friend's arm.
I'm telling you, Xian's not home today. Drop the seductive act. Why flirt with a woman?
I told her, clean up your mouth. Heard Jiang Mingyue's filth, I said sternly. You say you're pregnant. Liang Qingyin's belly is way bigger than yours. Regardless of your relationship, you're bullying a pregnant woman. I'll report you. Panic flickered in Jiang Mingyue's eyes, but my best friend shook her head. I understood this move probably wouldn't work, but Jiang Mingyue put on a pitiful look.
Saying, I love Xian too much, then I'll leave.
A stern voice rang out behind me.
Mingyue, stay here. Let's see who dares to act like master of my Zhou family.
But when I turned around, Zhou Xian looked embarrassed and guilty.
Aunt, why didn't you tell us you were coming back?
If I told you earlier,
I sneered.
who would I see such a splendid scene?
Zhou Xian's face fell. Hearing that I was Zhou Xian's aunt, my best friend's eyes lit up. In the original book setting, Zhou Xian lost his parents at a young age, and it was his aunt who raised him, so he deeply respected his aunt. I gave my best friend a reassuring look. But Zhou Xian said,
Aunt, why give Mingyue a hard time the moment you're back? She's alone and helpless, why so hard on her?
Well, even the respectful nephew persona changed.
Alone and helpless.
I looked at this cheap nephew of mine and sneered.
Look at her clothes. Does she look all alone and helpless?
I put my arm around my best friend
To look at her,
and held her hand up in front of Zhou Xian.
remember when she was the village's most famous beauty? You insisted on marrying her. Now look at her chapped hands. Even if you're the factory director, messing with another woman, mistreating your spouse, things like this, dare you tell everyone?
Zhou Xian's face went pale, but Jiang Mingyue muttered,
Aunt, why are you taking an outsider's side? Xian is your own nephew? How can you help her? Besides, she volunteered to take care of me.
She took Zhou Xian's hand, placed it on her belly.
Don't believe me? Ask her.
My best friend lowered her head and murmured,
It was me. I volunteered.
Volunteered for what? Don't be afraid, I'll back you up.
I said sternly.
Vicious woman.
Aunt, watch your words.
Hearing me badmouth Jiang Mingyue, Zhou Xian angrily cut in.
What do you mean, vicious woman? She was just asked to help cook.
I was so angry I could laugh.
Fine. If it's no big deal, then let Jiang Mingyue make soup for Qingyin.
Mingyue's pregnant. How can she work in the kitchen?
I said calmly.
Qingyin is also pregnant. Her pregnancy's further along. Why can she go?
Aunt, respect you for raising me,
Zhou Xian's face darkened.
but this is a matter for the Zhou family.
I was so angry. I'd crack Zhou Xian's head open and see how a woman who abandoned him could still be treasured like a jewel. Seeing my best friend's red, swollen skin, now wasn't the time to argue. I took my best friend to the master bedroom for medicine. Jiang Mingyue tried to stop me, so I coldly looked at Zhou Xian. Zhou Xian, don't forget, this apartment belongs to Qingyin. Back then, without Qingyin, would you have become factory director? Aren't you afraid he'll come at night? Her father might come for you. These words made Zhou Xian hesitate. Back then, without my best friend's father, Zhou Xian was bullied in the workshop and couldn't get enough to eat. How could he have become the glorious director Zhou of today? Zhou Xian stopped Jiang Mingyue dark-faced. He led his people away. I didn't rush to acknowledge her. Applied medicine to her wounds, watched her fall asleep. Zhou Xian acting like this. He's unreliable. I paged a message. Got a positive reply. my heart settled. Seeing my best friend's uneasy sleep, tears stung my eyes. I hummed the lullaby the orphanage director used to sing to us. Then my friend's breathing steadied. Before long, the door was slammed open. Best friend woke startled and hid in my arms. Jiang Mingyue held a bowl of chicken soup. She glanced disdainfully at my best friend and slammed the bowl onto the nightstand.
Didn't you want me to make her soup? Go on, drink it. I simmered it for a long time, so don't let my efforts go to waste. Brought a bowl to Xian. He said it was delicious.
I pointed at the chicken soup, now congealed fat, and sneered. Brought this to Zhou Xian. When it's this cold and congealed, would Director Zhou really drink that? Jiang Mingyue wasn't flustered.
Aunt, this is from my heart. I don't understand why you've been targeting me since you returned. What era is this? Xian pitied Liang Qingyin. He didn't divorce her. Out of kindness, I let Xian support her. How is this my fault?
I gave her a flat look. Zhou Xian's protection? Think you're qualified to be here living in comfort and luxury? Don't push me too far. If this blows up, you won't end well. Jiang Mingyue's face twisted with anger, but she couldn't refute. Suddenly, she chuckled softly.
Aunt, since you're threatening me, I won't show any mercy either. You've already seen today that even facing you, Xiang will defend me without hesitation. Since you haven't yet recognized this fact, then I will teach you and Liang Qingyin a lesson.
When Jiang Mingyue fell, my forehead veins throbbed. Tacky cliché. I stopped using it long ago. This messed up plot is quite fond of it. Expected. Zhou Xian appeared, scooping Jiang Mingyue into his arms, shouted at my best friend.
Liang Qingyin, you're a venomous woman. Never should have married you.
My best friend and Jiang Mingyue were far apart. How could he blame my best friend? Jiang Mingyue started acting again, tears streaming down her face, and threw herself into Zhou Xian's arms.
Xian, I wanted to cook some chicken soup to help my sister recover.
She glanced at me at the right moment.
But I don't know how I offended Aunt. She's been targeting me since she came back.
Zhou Xian roared.
Aunt, wasn't my warning enough? Not in Nanchang anymore, where you can boss me.
He picked up Jiang Mingyue, strode away, cast a cold glance at my best friend as he left.
If anything happens to Mingyue, your marriage to me will be over.
Just me and my best friend, staring in shock. My best friend tried to comfort me.
I'm sorry. I've caused you trouble.
Before she could finish, her face twisted in pain. Her water broke and gushed onto the floor. She squeezed out a few words.
Today, due date.
Instantly realized Jiang Mingyue had deliberately picked a fight today. Rushed out to chase Zhou Xian, but left me only exhaust. Went door to door to borrow a car, but got turned away at everyone. Next door neighbor looked troubled.
Dear sister, not that we don't want to help you. We all work at Factory Manager Zhou's factory. Jiang Mingyue is the apple of his eye. She gave specific instructions. We dare not offend her.
But a life's at stake. Rest assured. If you save Qingyin, I'll see justice done for you. I began to kneel. The aunt pulled me up. After thinking long, I gritted my teeth.
You're right. It's a life. I'll help you.
My friend and I, my best friend, passed out from pain, helped her onto a tricycle. Bumping along, we made it to the hospital. Unexpectedly, the only obstetrician on duty that night was called away by Jiang Mingyue under the pretext of pregnancy care, and couldn't get away. Furious, went to Jiang Mingyue's ward, determined to drag doctor away no matter what. Zhou Xian blocked my way.
Aunt, don't you see Mingyu needs the doctor? Qingyin's baby is your relative. Mingyu's child too?
I roared, Qingyin's due date today. Don't you know? After a long pause, he suddenly chuckled.
Aunt, how old are you? Still playing tricks with Qingyin? You think I don't know? Her due date is a month later?
Stunned, glanced at Jiang Mingyue. Sure enough, she turned away guiltily. Zhou Xian frowned.
Aunt, I warned you. This isn't Nanchang. Do I have to get rough?
Someone's backing her up.
Jiang Mingyue. Xian. After all, Aunt is an elder. For you, I'll bear it.
Jiang Mingyue got bolder. Zhou Xian's gaze turned dangerous. Suddenly, I let out a low laugh. Zhou Xian, you grew wings? Think carefully again, about the conditions that made you factory director. This isn't Nanchang. I also chase after others, a shameless thing. But you forgot, Zhou Xian said coldly, the person I chased. He nearly retorted, but paused, and quickly pulled the doctor from Jiang Mingyue's bedside.
Hurry, go check on my wife. If anything happens to the child, I'll make you pay dearly.
Glanced at the commotion downstairs, chuckled softly. Too late. Rushed to the delivery room, saw the doctor reassuring Song Wenxuan.
Mr. Song, rest assured, we'll ensure the patient delivers normally.
Song Wenxuan nodded, glanced at Zhou Xian and Jiang Mingyue, who followed.
Make sure both mother and child are safe.
Best friend wheeled into surgery. Jiang Mingyue glanced mockingly at me and Song Wenxuan, and said coquettishly,
Yo, Xia. Who is this? Could it be Sister Qingyin? Outside with someone else?
Shut up!
Zhou Xian lost his temper at Jiang Mingyue for the first time. Jiang Mingyue teared up, biting her lip, staring at him. But this time, Zhou Xian had lost the desire to comfort her. He humbled himself, extending his hand.
Mr. Song, how'd you come from Nanqing?
Song Wengshuan chuckled, looking at Zhou Xian, motionless.
Hadn't I come, Zhou Lan would blame me forever. Would I still have my wife?
I blushed. Before looking for my best friend, I knew that I had won Song Wengshuan, but we hadn't broken through that last barrier. But Zhou Xian changed so much, so I felt uncertain about the story's direction. My heart pounded. I wasn't sure of Song Wengshuan's intentions until he rushed to Nancheng. Zhou Xian, factory's tech was outdated, facing market elimination. He urgently needed a partnership, and Song Wengshuan was his lifeline. 3. Zhou Xian and Jiang Mingyue glanced awkwardly. After a while, he finally spoke, awkwardly smiling.
We're all family. Besides, Qingyin's my wife. I hold her in my palm.
Hearing this, with the delivery room sounds, my best friend's heart-wrenching screams, I couldn't contain my anger.
Family? Held in the palm of your hand? Still let Qingyin, heavily pregnant, serve your mistress? I raised you with hardship, yet you've disrespected me repeatedly for this woman. Don't think I don't know why you changed your mind and let the doctor come down. Right. Wife's due date, was it this woman? You never even went with her to a prenatal checkup?
Zhou Xian could only lower his head guiltily. My heart sank. I was right. No wonder he thought my best friend's due date was a month later. Jealousy flashed in Jiang Mingyue's eyes. Now she could see how important Song Wengshuan was to Zhou Xian. She, always good at reading the situation, put on that pitiful, vulnerable look again.
But isn't Liang Qingyin safely giving birth in the hospital? And besides, I simply misheard the due date. Why does Aunt always assume the worst of me?
Glib tongue.
She tugged Zhou Xian's sleeve. Zhou Xian looked troubled.
All right, Aunt. Mingyue's right. And even if you dislike Mingyue so much, she is carrying our Zhou family's child. You can't just...
Song Wengshuan and I exchanged glances, chuckled softly.
How do you know she's carrying the Zhou family's child?
Jiang Mingyue paled.
Auntie, even if you and Mr. Song...
Zhou Xian fumed.
Such irresponsible words, how can you say that? How can Mingyue face people in the future?
This speech fits the character. Flavor of a domineering CEO. No wonder her bestie stays. She's been into this since a kid. She's sighed many times. If only her future husband could be Zhou Xian. How wonderful. It's come true, yet she...
Song Wengshuan sighed. He brought a sneaky blonde guy to the front. At first sight of him, Jiang Mingyue collapsed to the ground. Zhou Xian frowned. Under Song Wengshuan's sharp glare, the blonde guy plopped down on his knees.
Sorry, Mingyu. I couldn't pay my gambling debts. Mr. Song offered too much. I had no choice. Jiang Mingyue's baby is mine. I have proof we checked into a hotel together. Dates match perfectly. She was jealous. Liang Qingyin was pregnant, but she couldn't conceive herself, so...
The moment the hotel record was handed to Zhou Xian, he couldn't hold back his rage, and grabbed Jiang Mingyue by the neck.
I treated you well. How dare you do this?
Jiang Mingyue almost rolled her eyes back. If it weren't for the commotion attracting people nearby, who quickly pulled them apart, Jiang Mingyue would have died on the spot. Jiang Mingyue bent over, panting hard.
Xian! How could you believe him and not believe me? I love you.
Seeing the emotion in Zhou Xian's eyes, I crossed my arms and chuckled.
Nancheng has DNA testing, since you insist. Oh, fine. I don't mind supporting you longer. Until the child is born, then we'll do a paternity test. The truth.
Before the words could fade, Jiang Mingyue dropped pretense, wailing. She knelt and clung to Zhou Xian's legs.
I'm sorry, Xian. I was just too jealous of her. I just wanted to be with you. Childhood sweethearts. Why marry her behind my back?
Zhou Xian kicked Jiang Mingyue hard in the chest.
Do you have any right to say that? You abandoned me for someone else? And then came back to me again. I already forgave you once. This is how you repay me? Get out! For my whole life. Never want to see you again.
Hearing this, Jiang Mingyue drained of all strength. She staggered to her feet, and shakily pointed at Zhou Xian.
Zhou Xian, you really are heartless. If you hadn't been so fickle-minded, how could I have managed to hook up with you again? If I weren't pregnant, would you still take responsibility for me? For your sake, Liang Qingyin even sacrificed her own family's factory, yet she has to go serve the mistress every day. I wanted a child for a share of the family fortune. Didn't expect the old witch to find out. Just my rotten luck.
Zhou Xian, veins bulging, tried to grab Jiang Mingyue again, but was deftly dodged by Jiang Mingyue. She laughed wildly.
But it looks like you won't get anything. Just now, in the ward. I don't know the content. Can't keep this factory either.
Zhou Xian struck a nerve. His expression became a spectacle. He panted heavily, staring fixedly at her.
Stop arguing. The mother gave birth. 8 Jin 6 Liang. A big, chubby boy.
The doctor's good news quickly shifted Zhou Xian's attention. He instead assumed a good husband's posture.
How's my wife? Can I go see her?
The doctor just gave him an odd look, then looked at me, and probed.
Before delivery, the mother wanted to see someone, but it wasn't you. It was her.
Waited in the ward for my best friend to wake up. Faint call. Made me spring up. My best friend. Lanlin's my real name.
Lanlin.
I hurriedly grasped her hand, and tears immediately fell. How did you recognize me? I brought her water to moisten her throat. She squeezed out a few words with difficulty.
I felt close to you from the moment I saw you. Before passing out, I heard Song Wenchuan arrive. He is your target of pursuit. So I knew it was you. It's really wonderful to see you. Lanlin, I regret it.
One sentence made my tears surge even more. Sorry. I've made you suffer too much. Don't worry. I'll help you get out of this. My best friend caressed my face, struggling. She still put me first, looking troubled.
Zhou Xian changed a lot. Song Wengshuan is a supporting role. Are you afraid of him?
He is different. Even if he's like Zhou Xian, I'm not afraid. I pinched my best friend's face, the soft flesh, and laughed softly. Did you forget the conditions? Your father set when leaving the factory to Zhou Xian? Join forces. Can't we kill him? And I also have my own business in Nanchang. Sister. We are new era women of the 21st century. Who doesn't keep a backup plan? I should have known to go back earlier. My best friend nodded vigorously at me. She threw herself into my arms, pouring out all her grievances.
Men are unreliable. Only you truly treat me well.
I sighed. I soothed her with back rubs. When we were kids at the orphanage, my best friend was older. When kids bullied me, my best friend always stood up for me. Even if the director punished her, beaten black and blue, lost a tooth, my best friend would just hold me in her arms, comforting me just like this.
Don't be afraid, I'm here.
So I secretly vowed to take care of my best friend forever. Not sure how long it had been, the person in my arms finally regained some sanity. She suddenly looked up.
Divorce. I need a divorce. I'm for Zhou Xian to pay.
Eyes stung, best friend, finally came to her senses.
May I come in?
Song Wenxuan, with lots of bags, came to see my best friend. My best friend smiled. First time in this world, I saw her so happy.
Lan, Aunt, why don't you and Mr. Song catch up? I was about to rest.
I nodded. Didn't expect that as soon as we walked out, Song Wenxuan's gaze turned intense.
You're about to leave, aren't you?
I was shocked. Still confused, Song Wenxuan, from my face, seemed to know the truth. He forced a bitter smile.
You think you've been trying to win me over that long? I knew you'd leave once you succeeded.
Then I realized. Once, to get closer to Song Wenxuan, I deliberately chose confession after a few drinks, set up a truth game. I didn't expect that my low-alcohol drink got swapped with Song Wenxuan's high-alcohol one. I can't hold my liquor, spilled everything about me like pouring out beans. Even more unexpectedly, Song Wenxuan, almost 40, was a pure romantic. After a long silence, I asked, Horse, what are you doing here? He chuckled.
Because something happened to you. I lost all reason at once. Determined to help you, even if you leave.
I rarely cry, but since reuniting with my best friend, my eyes are always red. Yu Song Wenxuan cut off my moment. His ears turned red, but his expression was serious.
How are you gonna deal with Zhou Xian? Need anything else?
I smiled. No need. Qingyin can handle it herself. My best friend filed for divorce as soon as she was discharged from the hospital. Even though times have changed, in Haicheng, it's still considered deviant. It became the talk of Haicheng. Zhou Xian, who'd been avoiding my best friend, finally came home. He was furious.
How could you ask for divorce? What'll you and the kid do without me?
He turned and saw me, and he complained deeply.
Auntie, you're in on this nonsense. Now you're back. Qingyin gave birth. Shouldn't we as a family live together happily?
Happily and harmoniously, I interrupted coldly. If not for the fact that the baby in Jiang Mingyue's belly isn't yours, and if not for the factory, Qingyin might not be alive today. Zhou Xian flushed, then gave that affectionate look again, facing her best friend.
Qingyin, I was blinded by greed before. Don't take it to heart. Let's live a good life together, okay?
This time, her best friend didn't hesitate. No soft heart, grabbed the trash can beside her, and puked. Zhou Xian, humiliated, his face darkened, he plopped onto the sofa and said coldly,
I'll reiterate once more. This is Haicheng. Don't bring that Nanchang style here. If you insist on going your own way, I'll let you see whether you can actually get this divorce or not.
I almost doubled over laughing. Secretary Song Wenxuan brought, placed the factory agreement before Zhou Xian.
Haicheng law applies. When you got the factory, the condition was you must marry Miss Liang. If Miss Liang divorces you, the factory goes back to her.
Zhou couldn't believe it. He snatched the agreement, and his expression darkened as he read, until he tore it to pieces. I watched him leisurely.
Tear it. Go ahead, just a copy.
Zhou Xian's sharp features twisted. He screamed loudly.
Aunt, you raised me since I was little. Why are you siding with an outsider?
With a slap, Zhou Xian's face swelled up high.
This slap is for disrespecting your elders. You know I raised you. After I came home, how many times did you threaten me about Song Wengshuan? Song Wengshuan proposed to me. No options left, so you're playing the sympathy card. This slap for being heartless. Without Qingyin, you'd have died on the streets, and you'd still be Director Zhou? You ungrateful trash. You don't deserve to throw a tantrum here.
I slapped Zhou Xian again. Zhou Xian's face was a mixture of red and purple, but he couldn't say a word in retort. My best friend also stood up, her face calm.
My own child. Nothing to do with you. If you insist on dragging out the divorce, then wait for the court summons. Everyone knows your affair with Jiang Mingyu. I believe the judge will give me a fair verdict.
Zhou Xian lost his composure, collapsed, staring at my best friend with grief, shaking his head. He tried to find in her eyes any trace of insincerity, but was met only with disappointment. After a long while, Zhou Xian's eyes darkened, and he slowly stood up.
In that case, don't blame me for disregarding family ties.
With that, he slammed the door and left. Zhou Xian struck back fast. He dared to refuse handing over the factory, even got workers to hassle my friend. Song Wengshuan, for me, looked after my best friend a few times. But Zhou Xian twisted it with embellishments, turned it into an affair story. Song Wengshuan and I haven't got our marriage certificate yet, which gave Zhou Xian a chance to take advantage. Leaders tried to persuade my best friend. Same old talk. For the Zhou family's reputation, they asked me to persuade my best friend. A cold sneer rose in me. Even now, Zhou Xian still thought that I'd care about the Zhou family reputation. Holding evidence of him and Jiang Mingyue, heading to the factory, I never thought someone else would step forward. It was Jiang Mingyue, abandoned by Zhou Xian. She had nowhere to turn. She went to Zhou Xian but got coldly shut out every time. Humiliated and enraged, Jiang Mingyue took extreme measures and directly exposed everything. I coldly watched former lovers expose each other's dirty laundry. In this situation, even if someone wanted to intervene, they had no ground to stand on. Zhou Xian's eyes shifted from smug to defeated gray, then to bitter jealousy. Finally, Zhou Xian exploded and pushed Jiang Mingyue down the stairs. Jiang Mingyue, in a vegetative state, lost her baby, Zhou Xian thrown in prison. My best friend officially took over the factory, and new suitors appeared by her side, but she seemed like a different person, merely enjoying the fresh excitement they brought. She shifted her focus to work and raising her child.
Who needs a man? What you hold is what matters. Once I get this factory thriving again, who knows? Maybe someday I'll open a branch factory and expand to South City.
Once I finished speaking, the system notification chimed.
Ding. Objective. Win yourself over. Progress. 100%.
My best friend stared at me, then she stammered.
Is this the system?
It's the system. Mission complete. Coming back with me?
I blinked at her. My best friend glanced at the child. Hesitation flickered across her face. But this time, I wasn't worried about her. System chimed in.
Special reward this time. If you don't want to go back now, you can go back in 20 years.
20 years later. Raise my son to adulthood. Sorry, Lanlin.
My best friend sighed with relief, her gaze resolute. She guiltily took my hand, but I held hers back, my eyes burning with fervor.
It's okay. This time, it's your true choice. Support you. Wait for you.
Best friend smiled with relief. Then, she looked troubled.
Are you willing to leave? I'm here. Song Wengshuan's here. And your career.
I interrupted her with a smile. But for me, freedom is the most important thing. With skills to earn a living, I can thrive anywhere. Song Wengshuan came to mind. After winning him over, he had an epiphany. The book's domineering CEO tropes that Zhou Xian used on my best friend all happened to me instead. But I knew just a book. Suppressed my emotions, pretended not to care. Just fictional characters. Men, you know, can be replaced. Maybe there's someone better in the real world. My best friend lowered her head, kept silent. But when she looked up, she smiled sincerely.
You're right. I think Song Wengshuan still supports your choice. Lanlin, wait for me over there.
I smiled even brighter, waved to my best friend. 10 years later, I returned to the book world, just to see if my best friend was okay. I'd have to leave again soon. My friend and I sat in a club, listening to her talk about the past.
Her son had grown up, and I had opened a factory in Nanchang. I left him enough money. And even puts him in a trust. Even if he meets a gold digger, he won't be ruined.
I nodded at my best friend. She glanced at the male model in the nightclub and gave me a sly smile.
Today, you'll drink with me till we're wasted.
I was about to agree, but then Song Wengshuan's voice came softly from behind.
Miss Liang. She's a married woman. I'll take her with me.
Song Wengshuan half dragged, half carried me. He took me out of the nightclub, my best friend behind us, laughing her head off. I glared back at her. She made a face, turned and slipped back onto the dance floor.
Lanlin, your man's still so overbearing.
The night breeze blew, and my mind cleared a bit. Song Wengshuan draped his jacket over my shoulders, sounding resigned.
Drinking too much. You'll have a headache tomorrow.
Leaned on his shoulder, watching the neon-lit unfamiliar cityscape. I'm happy. Qingyin finally became who she wanted. Long time. Mood was quiet. Song Wenchuan said nothing. He kept walking, arm around my shoulder. We reached the riverside, where the damp night wind hit our faces. I suddenly asked, back then? When did you know I was leaving? He was silent for a moment.
That night you got drunk? You said a lot. You said this world's your book. We're all paper people. That once you complete your mission, you'll go back.
My heart clenched. Paused, voice lowering.
You also said, you have no family in the real world, only one best friend. You said you had to go back, or else you'd have nothing left.
I opened my mouth, but didn't know what to say. My drunken truth, but the cruelest reality. My voice was hoarse. You were so good to me after... 'Cause you knew I was leaving? Song Wenchuan turned to me. Streetlights softened his outline. He said,
No, I was good to you, because I wanted to be good to you. Not because you were leaving.
Nose stung, buried my face in his chest. What about now? Asked, muffled, leaving again soon. He interrupted me, his fingers threading through my hair.
I know. Day you came back, system prompted me. Target had a choice. Could go with you, or could stay.
I jerked my head up. You know? He nodded.
3 years after you left, system approached me, saying you were waiting for me over there, and asked if I wanted to go.
My heart was racing. And you?
I chose to stay.
He said calmly. Like a bucket of cold water poured over me, I instinctively took a step back, but he reached out and pulled me back. He looked down at me, with a smile in his eyes.
Hear me out. I'm staying, because there are still things to finish here. Your friend's factory started up. The business you left needs managing. Also,
He paused.
I know. You have your own life over there. I don't want to burden you.
I panicked. How could you be a burden? He pressed his finger to my lips.
Hear me out. I'm staying. But the system said, once I finish things here, I can come to you anytime. Condition is...
What's the condition?
The condition is, forget everything here. Start over.
I froze. Forget everything here? That means he would forget me? Forget everything between us. So you, my voice trembled, not coming over? Song Wingshuan was silent for a long time. A tourist boat passed by. The lights reflected in the water, shattering into light fragments. He finally spoke, his voice soft.
I don't know. Wanted to find you. But I was afraid. Afraid after I went, I wouldn't remember you. Too cruel to you.
If you don't come, that's cruel to me, I said. Pulled me into his arms, chin on my head. He said,
Give me more time. Wait until I handle things here. I'll come find you, even if I forget. I'll get to know you again. Fall in love with you again.
Clutched his collar, tears streaming down. I choked out. You liar. The Song Wingshuan in the book is not like this. He laughed.
So what's Song Wenchuan like in the book?
Calm. Rational, always putting his career first.
You've written me out of character.
He said.
Since I met you, I've been restless.
Song Wingshuan and I stood by the river past midnight. He carried me back on his back. You know, waiting for you in the real world. Lying on his back, mumbling drowsily. Don't keep me waiting too long.
Okay.
If you don't come, I'll write a book and make you the villain, so everyone hates you. He chuckled.
Then you should make me really bad.
Why?
You'll write more about me.
I punched him on the back in frustration, but he just laughed even harder. Back at the hotel, my best friend was already back. She sat on the sofa with a face mask. Seeing Song Wingshuan carry me in, her expression under the mask was indescribable.
You two, can you stop with the PDA in the middle of the night?
I jumped off Song Wingshuan's back, my face flushing.
Alright, you talk. Going for a walk.
My best friend looked at me, then at Song Wingshuan, and sighed. Where are you going this late? I grabbed her, and she winked at me.
Going to buy a pack of cigarettes. No worries, I won't be far.
After she left, just Song Wingshuan and me. Suddenly awkward, I sat on the bed edge. He stood by the window. Neither spoke. I spoke first. When are you going back to Nanchang?
Tomorrow.
So soon? He turned to look at me.
Done here. What about you? When you going back?
I knew he was asking about going back to the real world. I said, System says 3 days left. He nodded. He didn't say anything else. Suddenly, I felt a tightness in my chest. I thought I was ready for leaving, but when it was actually time to part, realized how hard it was. Song Wenchuan, I called him.
Yeah.
Come here. He walked over. He stood before me. I looked up at him. I grabbed his tie. I pulled him down. He was caught off guard. His hands braced on either side. His eyes were inches away.
What are you doing?
His voice was hoarse. Stamping, I said. When you get there. Even if you don't remember me, your body will still remember. He froze. He smiled. Beautiful smile. Like melting ice. Like spring flowers. When he lowered his head and kissed me, I closed my eyes and silently said in my heart, I will wait for you, no matter how long. Next day, Song Wen-swan was leaving. My bestie and I saw him off. I said, call me when you get there. Station was bustling. He stood at the ticket gate, suit crisp and sharp, expression indifferent, as if on an ordinary business trip.
Okay.
Don't stay up late. Drink less.
Okay.
Don't forget to eat. He smiled. He ruffled my hair.
Even more nagging than my mom.
I said, never met your mom. Book didn't mention her. He paused for a moment. Then his smile deepened. My bestie rolled her eyes beside us.
Can you two stop being cheesy? The train's about to leave.
Song Wing-swan glanced at her.
Take care of her for me.
Bestie patted her chest.
Don't worry. Of course I'll take care of my bestie. As for you, don't make my bestie wait.
He didn't answer. He just looked at me. Then he turned and walked through the ticket gate. I stood there, watching him fade away. Suddenly, I wanted to run after him.
Don't chase him.
My best friend grabbed my arm. How'd you know?
Because you wrote him.
My best friend said.
The male leads you create. Which one isn't a hopeless romantic?
She amused me, but my eyes turned red. On the way back to the hotel, system beep.
Ding. Emotional fluctuation detected in target Song Wenchuan. Hidden quest triggered. Love across time and space. Quest description. If the target character, within 10 years, completes the asset transfer to the real world and memory seal removal, he can traverse to the real world with his memories. Progress. 67%.
I was stunned. Traverse with memories? I quickly asked the system, what does that mean? He come with his memories?
Yes. Over 10 years, Song Wenchuan, via a special system channel, transferred assets from this world into real-world resources. At the same time, he is undergoing training to unseal his memories. If progress reaches 100%, he can keep all his memories and go to the real world.
My heart was pounding. His progress was at 67%. How long for the remaining 33%?
Estimated another 3 years. But note, memory seal removal training is risky. Memory exists. Memory seal removal training is risky.
Failure probability? My palms were sweating.
32%.
Nearly 1/3 risk. I stayed silent a long time. Finally, I asked, can he be stopped?
Win over Song Wen. Can't force stop. Win over Song Wen. The target voluntarily chose this mission.
I closed my eyes. I took a deep breath. Song Wing-swan, you madman. Last 3 days, dragged. Best friend saw I was distracted. Dragged me out of the hotel. Told me she was taking me somewhere. Long drive. Arrived at a small town I'd never been to. Town wasn't big, with bluestone roads, white walls, black tiles, like an inkwash painting. My friend led me through twists and turns, and stopped at a tea house. She said,
We're here.
I looked up. On the tea house's plaque were 3 characters. Wait for the wind. This is...
Let's go take a look.
Pushed the door open, went in. The tea house was quiet. Only a few elderly drinking tea and playing chess. The owner was a middle-aged woman. Seeing her best friend, she smiled and greeted her.
Miss Liang's here. Usual spot?
Her friend nodded, led me to the second floor. The private room overlooked the river. Pushing open the window, you could see black awning boats drifting. This place looks familiar,
You wrote it?
her best friend said.
You wrote about a small town in your book where the heroine and hero finally settled down. Song Wing-swan found this place, bought it, turned it into a tea house. He said, if you didn't come back, he'd wait forever. He waited 10 years.
I froze. Her best friend looked at me. I felt a lump in my throat.
He also said, if you ever come back, this place is yours. So, in the real world, you'd have something to hold on to.
I walked to the window and looked at the shimmering river. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. Why didn't he tell me himself? Her best friend came over and put hand on my shoulder.
Afraid of making you sad. He said you're that type of person who seems carefree, but actually has the softest heart. If he'd told you, you wouldn't have left.
I bit my lip, unable to speak. My best friend looked at me seriously.
Lanlin? Are you really leaving?
I wiped away my tears, took a deep breath. I'm going. Gotta go back.
Why?
Because I have unfinished business over there.
What is it?
Looked out the window. Wait for him, I said softly. The day I left, the weather was beautiful. My best friend drove, taking me to the system's designated spot, under an old locust tree in the suburbs. This tree was in my book, where the leads first kissed. Got out of the car, looked at the old locust tree, lush and leafy, and found it funny. My best friend asked,
What are you laughing at?
At myself, I said. When I wrote the book, I made up a scene. I didn't expect it'd be used. My best friend laughed, but as she laughed, her eyes turned red.
Lanlin,
She grabbed my hand.
as you arrive, text me.
How? You're here. I'm there,
Then send a dream.
she said.
Send me a dream every night. And tell me if you're doing well.
She made me laugh, but my tears fell right along with it. Stop crying. I reached out and wiped her tears away. You'll be back in 10 years. It'll be quick.
10 years quick?
I said. For us, 10 years is just the blink of an eye. Live your life well over there. Waiting for you here. Best friend nodded. Tears wouldn't stop. The system began its countdown.
10, 9, 8.
One last look at the world. Deep blue sky, gentle breeze, old locust leaves rustled softly. In the distance, cars drove by. Children laughing, street vendors hawking. Felt so real, vivid and alive.
3, 2. Ding. Transmigration done. Back to the real world.
I opened my eyes, feeling a bit dazed. I sat up in bed. I looked around. That ceiling light was my pick. That book was mine. That pothos plant I grew. Then reality sank in. I'm back. This was my room in the real world. I checked the date on my phone. Since the day I transmigrated, only 3 minutes had passed. I picked up my phone, wanting to text my best friend, but my fingers hovered above the screen. And suddenly I didn't know what to say. She's in that other world, living her life. While I'm here, having to go on with my own life, I took a deep breath, opened the memo app, and started writing. This time, going back, I learned many truths and gained deeper insights. I wrote a lot about that world, about those people. At the end, I stopped, looking at the dense text on the screen. I suddenly smiled. I saved the document and named it Saving My Best Friend in the period novel I wrote. Then I turned off my phone. I lay back down on the bed and closed my eyes. Song Wenxuan's face came to mind. His brows and eyes, his smile, his deep voice, his warm palms. I'll wait for you, I said in my heart. The days back in the real world were harder than I had imagined. I thought I would be very carefree. After all, I had chosen to come back on my own. After I came back, I realized that everything from that world seemed etched in my bones. Couldn't forget it, no matter what. Work as usual, eat as usual, sleep as usual. But late at night, when all is quiet, always thinking of Song Wenxuan. The look in his eyes as he stood by the window watching me, the sound of his voice when he whispered my name, the warmth of his palm. I started dreaming often. In my dreams, I'd return to that world, back to that small courtyard, back under that osmanthus tree. Song Wenxuan sat in the rattan chair, holding that book, looked up, saw me, smiled. He asked,
You're back?
I said, I'm back. Woke up. After waking, pillow wet, tried texting my best friend. But her phone number was out of service. I went to the places we used to go, but there were new owners now. I finally realized that she was no longer in this world. At least, I'd have to wait 10 more years. 3 months later, I got a call from an unknown number.
Hello? Is this Miss Jolan?
Speaking.
Hello? I'm Chen Ming, Mr. Song Wenxuan's lawyer. Mr. Song asked us to transfer his property to you. Can you come to our office?
The hand holding my phone was trembling. Is it convenient? I'll come right over. When I arrived at the firm, Mr. Chen handed me a thick document. I opened it and saw a property transfer agreement. Stunned. This address is the location of the town I wrote about.
Mr. Song left a letter for you.
Mr. Chen handed me another envelope. I took it and opened it with trembling fingers. There was only one line on the paper. Wait for the wind and wait for you. I held the letter, tears streaming down my face. Mr. Chen became a bit nervous.
Miss Zhou, are you all right?
I wiped my tears and smiled. I'm fine, I said. Very good.
Also,
Mr. Chen took out another document.
Mr. Song entrusted us to set up a trust fund. Beneficiary, you. The fund will, over the next 10 years, make a monthly payment to your account.
I was completely stunned.
He said, this is from him. He said it's a token of appreciation, and hoped you wouldn't refuse.
Took a deep breath and asked, what else he said. Lawyer Chen paused and said,
He also said, if you ask about him, to tell you that he's fine, and not to worry.
I nodded, folded the letter, and put it in my pocket. Thanks, Lawyer Chen.
You're welcome. Mr. Song is a longtime client. Anything he entrusts us, we'll handle it well.
That afternoon, I went to that address. A small town, near the city, an hour by bus. Not big, bluestone paths, white walls, black tiles, like an ink painting. Found the house, pushed the door open. Inside, a small courtyard. In the courtyard stood an osmanthus tree. Beneath it a rattan chair, and on the chair lay a book. I walked over, picked up the book, and it was the period novel I had written. Pages were worn, read many times. I opened the title page. There was a line of text, in Song Wenxuan's handwriting.
In the stories you wrote, there is everyone, except yourself. So I came.
Holding a book, sitting on a rattan chair, looking at the osmanthus tree above. Wind blew, leaves rustled. I suddenly remembered the task the system mentioned, a love across time and space.
Progress at 67%, 33% remaining. 3 years.
Closed my eyes, took a deep breath. Song Wenxuan, I'll wait for you. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait. Days passed. Quit my old job, moved to a small town, reopened the tea house, still named Waiting for the Wind. Made tea daily, read books, and wrote. Life moved slowly, and was quiet. Guests came by occasionally, mostly tourists. They asked, why this name? I said, waiting for someone. They asked, who? I smiled, didn't answer. Who am I waiting for? No one would believe me. The first year, osmanthus bloomed, filling the courtyard with fragrance, sat under a tree, wrote a new book, titled Waiting for the Wind, about a woman who traveled into her own book and fell in love with a fictional character. After the book, she writes. Great response. She writes, many readers moved to tears. She writes, please update. Readers moved to tears. She writes, many readers moved to tears, asking if I really experienced it. I didn't answer, because the answer was absurd. No one would believe it. Next year, a strange customer came to the tea house. An old lady, her hair all white, but in good spirits. She sat in the private room, drank tea all afternoon, didn't say a word. When she was about to leave, she suddenly spoke.
Lady,
she said.
waiting for someone.
I was taken aback. How did you know?
I can tell.
She said.
There's a light in your eyes. A light only those waiting have.
She paused and added.
I waited for someone. Waited for 40 years.
I fell silent. Did you finally meet him? I asked.
Yes, I did.
She smiled.
When he came back, his hair was also white, and his teeth had fallen out, but I recognized him at first sight.
I said, that's wonderful.
So, don't give up.
She patted my hand.
What's meant to be will come eventually.
After she left, I stood at the door, watching her figure disappear at the end of the alley. Suddenly felt that perhaps waiting itself is a kind of happiness. Third year spring, osmanthus bloomed again. I, as usual, sat in the courtyard reading a book, suddenly heard the sound of the door being pushed open. I looked up and saw a man standing at the door. He wore a white shirt, sleeves rolled up to his forearms, held a bunch of osmanthus. Sunlight fell on his shoulders, as if gilded with gold edge. Thud. He looked at me. Blank gaze, like trying to recognize something. Heart beating fast, but didn't dare move, afraid to disturb this moment. He slowly walked in, walked up to me, looked down at me. Then he crouched down, placed the osmanthus on my lap.
Hello,
He said, his voice a bit hoarse.
I'm Song Wenchuan. I seem to recognize you.
My tears immediately welled up. You don't remember me? I asked. He frowned, as if trying hard to recall.
I've had many dreams,
He said.
and in the dreams there is a woman who looks a lot like you. She is crying, laughing, and calling my name. But I can't see her face clearly.
He reached out and gently touched my cheek.
Now I see clearly.
He said.
It's you.
I grabbed his hand, crying so hard I couldn't speak. He became a bit flustered.
Don't cry. Did I say something wrong?
I shook my head. I shook my head hard. I choked out. You didn't say anything wrong. You didn't say anything wrong at all. He looked at me, his gaze gradually softening.
Although I don't remember.
He said.
I feel like I must have loved you so much.
I laughed through my tears. You were this cheesy before too.
Before?
He raised an eyebrow. I said. A long time ago. Night took him to the tea house's second floor. Private room overlooking the river. Opened the window. Could see black awning boats on the river. He stood by the window, watching outside, looking dazed.
This place?
He turned to look at me.
Been here before?
You have been here, I said, a long time ago. He said.
You know me well. Then tell me.
He smiled.
What kind of person am I?
I thought for a moment and said, you are a very foolish person.
Foolish.
Foolish to wait 10 years for someone. Foolish to be willing to risk losing memory and travel through time. Foolish enough to come for me. Though you remember nothing, still came for me. He looked at me.
What about you?
His eyes shone.
How long have you waited for me?
He asked. 3 years, I said, but it felt like a lifetime. He walked over, reached out and pulled me into his arms. He said.
I'm sorry. Sorry for the wait.
Buried my face in his chest. Okay. As long as you're here. Song Wengswan stayed in the small town. He didn't remember the past, but he learned quickly. He learned to brew tea, learned to tend the yard, and learned to read under the osmanthus tree. He also learned to cook. The first time he cooked, he almost burned down the kitchen. So angry, I chased him around the yard. He laughed and dodged. Finally caught him under the osmanthus tree. Still laughing? My pot! My brand new pot. I grabbed his ear.
Pay you back.
He begged.
I'll pay you for 10.
Not even 10. It's a limited edition. He suddenly stopped running, turned around and picked me up. What are you doing? I patted his shoulder.
To comfort you.
He said.
Book says, when a woman's angry, a hug works.
Which book says that? My book doesn't say that.
Write it now.
He said.
Write about a male lead. Each time he makes her angry, picks her up and spins her 3 times.
So exasperated I laughed. Are you the male lead? He asked back.
Am I not?
I looked at him, suddenly couldn't speak. Yes, he's the male lead. From start to finish, he always has been. Days passed by one after another. Song Wangsuan's memories returned in fragments. Sometimes in dreams, triggered by a scene. Once, we were walking by the river, and he suddenly stopped, looking at the black awning boats on the river, and said,
Waiting for when?
I froze. You remembered?
No,
He frowned, and said,
it's just... 3 words popped into my head.
I pursed my lips. That's the name of the tea house.
I know,
He said.
but it's more than a tea house.
I took his hand, and didn't say a word. Some things don't need to be remembered, as long as the person is by your side. That's enough. 6 months later, Song Wingswan and I married. Wedding was small, only a few friends invited. Best friend didn't come. She's in that world, and won't be back for another 7 years. But she had someone send a wedding gift, a pair of jade bracelets. The quality was excellent, clearly worth a fortune. A note on the gift. It said, Lanlin wishes you happiness. Wait for me to come back, then we'll drink till we drop. Your best friend. I put the jade bracelets on my wrists, and said to the empty air, Okay, I'll wait for you.
Who are you talking to?
Song Wenxuan watched me from the side, his eyes smiling. I said, My best friend. She's in another world. He raised an eyebrow.
Another world?
Yeah, I nodded. A world you once lived in. He was silent for a moment. Then he smiled.
Then I should know her.
I said, You know her. She was your lifesaver.
When I have a chance later, I'll thank her properly.
There will be a chance, I said. 7 years later, on the night of the wedding, I had a dream. In the dream, my best friend stood under the old locust tree, waving at me. She called out,
Lanlin, I saw you got married. How beautiful.
I laughed. How did you see it?
System live streamed it.
She said excitedly.
Song Wingswan looks handsome in a suit. You look beautiful in a wedding dress. But my position wasn't very good. I could only see your profiles.
Then change your position next time.
Next time? Getting married again?
I laughed in exasperation. I meant, when you come back, I'll throw a big wedding. Her eyes lit up.
Really?
Really? It's a deal.
It's a deal.
She smiled happily. Then she got serious.
Lanlin, how is he doing?
I knew she was talking about Song Wengshuan. Good, I said. He's fine.
That's good.
She breathed a sigh of relief.
You don't know how much he suffered to come here.
My heart tightened. What hardship? My best friend hesitated, she said.
The memory seal removal training. It wasn't easy. 3 times he almost failed. The last time, he lay in a hospital bed for 2 months. He almost...
I asked, why didn't you tell me? She didn't finish. I already understood.
He didn't want me to tell you.
My best friend said.
He said if you knew, you would definitely be heartbroken. He didn't want you heartbroken.
I bit my lip. Tears fell. My best friend said.
Lanlin, he loves you.
I said, I know.
Treat him well.
I will.
Okay, I should go now. There's a lot of things waiting for me over there.
She smiled. She waved at me. I called out to her. Thank you.
For what?
Thank you for standing up for me back then. Thank you for always protecting me. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me know. There's someone who truly cares.
My best friend's eyes welled up.
Silly. Between us, there's no need for thanks.
Dream ended. I opened my eyes and saw Song Wengswan asleep beside me, breathing evenly, brows furrowed, as if dreaming. I reached out my hand and gently smoothed his brows. He drowsily grabbed my hand and mumbled,
Don't go.
I won't go, I said. I'm not going anywhere. He murmured okay, and fell back asleep. I looked at the moonlight and remembered the unfinished rhyme, waiting for the wind, flowers to bloom, and you. The wind came, the flowers bloomed, and you came too. How wonderful! Married life was peaceful and beautiful. Song Wengjuan ran the tea house with great success, wrote books at home, sometimes went to the tea house to help serve customers. We also kept a cat, and named it Osmanthus, because it loved sleeping under the osmanthus tree the most. Days passed by just like that, plain as a cup of clear tea, yet leaving a lasting aftertaste. Sometimes I would think of that other world, of those people and those events, of Zhou Xian, of Jiang Mingyu, of all that love and hatred. But those all felt like a distant dream, growing more and more blurred, and only Song Wenxuan was real. His smile was real, his voice was real, his warmth was real, all of it was real. Making tea at the tea house that day suddenly, heard a familiar voice outside the door.
Lanlin.
I looked up and saw my best friend in the doorway, wearing a floral dress, smiling like a flower. The teapot in my hand almost fell to the floor. Yu-ji, how did you come back? I stammered.
The 10 years are up,
She said, rushing in, threw her arms around me.
I missed you so much.
I hugged her back, my eyes growing hot. Didn't you say you had to wait 10 years? It's only been 7.
The system said, I could come back early, so I came back early.
She let go of me, looked me up and down, said,
You've lost weight.
I said, You gained weight. She mock punched my arm and laughed. Song Wenchuan came out of the kitchen. He saw my best friend and was taken aback. He looked at me.
Who is this?
I said,
My best friend? The one I mentioned.
Best friend looked at Song Wenchuan with complicated eyes.
You really don't remember me?
She asked. Song Wenchuan frowned. He said,
Sorry,
Okay.
Best friend cut him off.
Remember or not doesn't matter. What matters is that you treat her well.
Song Wenchuan said.
I will.
Best friend nodded. She turned to me.
Come on, let's drink. Now? In broad daylight? What's wrong with daytime? I'm back. Won't you have a drink?
I looked at Song Wenchuan helplessly. He shrugged.
Go ahead. I'll watch the tea house.
The best friend pulled me out, talking as we walked.
Let me tell you, I was awesome. Opened a factory in Nanchang. Even 3 branches. Son got into college. Studying finance.
She talked nonstop. I listened and smiled, tears welling up in my eyes. She's back. It's so good. That night, we drank a lot. Best friend got drunk, slumped over table, talking nonsense.
Lanlin. You know what? When I was over there, missed you most.
I said, I know.
I still miss him.
She suddenly said. I was taken aback. Who? She said, with a dazed look in her eyes.
Him. The one who chased me for 3 years.
You never told me about him. She lowered her head.
Because... Didn't dare to say it. Afraid if I said it, I'd fall in love.
I fell silent. She looked up at me.
Lanlin, don't you think loving someone is foolish?
I said, yes. I thought for a moment and said, it is foolish.
Then why do you still love?
Because it's worth it. She looked at me and suddenly smiled.
You're right.
That night, I took her back to the hotel. She held my hand and wouldn't let go. She said,
Lanlin, I'm going to find him tomorrow.
I said, go ahead.
You're not going to ask who he is.
When you want to tell me, you will tell me. She smiled. Let go of my hand.
You really are my best friend.
My best friend went to that person after all. Later I found out. He was an engineer at her factory. He pursued her for 3 years. She never said yes, but she said after coming back, she suddenly got it. Life is short. She told me on the phone. Love if you want to love. Hate if you want to hate. If you miss it, it's a lifetime. I laughed. When did you become so poetic?
I learned from you,
she said.
I've read all the books you wrote.
I thought you didn't like romance novels.
You wrote them. How could it be the same?
We laughed together over the phone. Another 3 years passed. Song Wenxuan's memory slowly came back. At first, just fragments. He suddenly called my name. He suddenly hummed that song. Later, there were more and more. One day, he was trimming the osmanthus tree in the yard. Suddenly, he stopped, turned around and looked at me.
Jolan?
Yeah? He called my name.
I remember.
The book in my hand fell to the ground. You remember? He walked over, stood in front of me.
Everything.
My tears suddenly gushed out. What do you remember? He said,
I remember you got drunk and called me a paper person. Remember you said you were leaving. Remembering seeing you off at the station. Remembering you kissing me.
He wiped away my tears. Threw myself into his arms, sobbing like a child. I choked out, You finally remembered.
I'm sorry.
He held me tight.
Making you wait so long.
I said, It's okay. As long as you're here. He lowered his head and kissed my hair. He said,
I won't leave anymore. Never again.
Then, Song Wangsuan changed. He started telling me about that world, telling me about the first time he saw me, thinking how strange this woman was, clearly not knowing him, yet seeming to know him so well. He later discovered my secret, feeling angry and amused. Angry I treated him as a fictional character, and amused that I had fallen in love with a fictional character, telling me when he decided to cross over, the system told him he might lose his memory. He said it didn't matter. Even if he forgot, he'd fall in love with me again. I watched him, making it hard for him. Really said that? He said,
Really? The system can testify.
The system disappeared long ago. That means there's no proof. I was so angry that I punched him, but he dodged with a laugh. We chased each other under the osmanthus tree, like two children. Another year passed. My best friend came back. With that engineer. Best friend begged the system to let him return to modern world too. System agreed. As remedy for earlier plot collapse, as compensation, my best friend brought him to see me. That engineer, who looked refined and gentle, wearing a pair of glasses, though he didn't talk much, he was very good to my best friend. Later, They got married. At the wedding, my best friend threw the bouquet to me.
You're next.
She shouted at me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I've already been married. She said.
You marry again, big ceremony?
Song Wengshuan laughed.
All right, let's have a big one.
I glared at him. What are you butting in for? He said.
Great idea. Last wedding was too small. Go bigger this time.
Got the money? He said.
Saved up quite a bit over there.
We really did have that wedding we missed. At the biggest hotel in town, so many guests. My best friend was my maid of honor. Song Wengshuan's best buddy was the best man. At the wedding, my best friend cried. And I cried too. Song Wengshuan slipped the ring onto my finger, his hands trembling. I asked, "Why are you shaking?" He said,
I'm nervous.
"Not the first time."
Feels like the first time. Every time feels like the first time.
He looked into my eyes. Guests cheered, shouting, "Kiss, kiss." Song Wengshuan leaned down and kissed me. In that moment, I felt like the happiest person in the world. After the wedding, Song Wengshuan and I returned to our courtyard. Osmanthus tree bloomed again, filling the yard with fragrance. We sat under the tree, sipping tea, watching the moon.
Jolan,
He called my name.
tell me, how did we get to where we are today?
I thought and said, maybe because we were both willing to wait.
Wait for what?
Wait for the wind, wait for the flowers to bloom, wait for each other. He smiled and pulled me into his arms.
From now on.
We'll keep waiting.
Wait for what?
Wait till our hair's white, I said. When we're old, we'll still be here, drinking tea and watching the moon. He looked down at me, his eyes shimmering. He said,
Okay. He'll wait with you.
Life after marriage. Song Wengshuan unleashed his true self. With his memories back, the demeanor of President Song from Nanchang, deep in his bones, came back to life. For instance, now, wearing a haute couture shirt, cuffs rolled up meticulously, sitting behind the tea house counter, doing accounts.
Pre-Qingming Longjing tea batch price was 15% too high.
His slender fingers tap on an abacus. Right, he complained a calculator lacks tactile feedback, so he got a red sandalwood abacus. I rolled my eyes while cracking sunflower seeds. Dude. We're running a casual tea house in an ancient town. Not handling cross-border mergers and acquisitions in Nanchang, okay? He looked up. His gaze behind gold-rimmed glasses flickered with adoration. Then, straight-faced, he said,
Mrs. Song, even a mosquito leg is meat. Need to earn money for you.
I burst out laughing. I don't lack money. Royalties from Waiting for the Wind alone, plus film and TV adaptation fees, are enough for us to live in this small town in comfort for 8 lifetimes. He loves the sense of accomplishment being a domineering CEO, working hard to earn money and spends it on his wife. Young girls who come for tea are mesmerized by this boss's ascetic charm, losing their heads over him, and secretly snap photos. Whenever this happens, Song Wengshuan stands up leisurely, walks over to me, and casually puts his arm around my waist.
Boss lady. What's for lunch? I'll cook.
Girls' pink fantasy bubbles shatter on the floor. Then they look like I ship it so hard, covering mouths frantically. I pinch his waist. You're doing this on purpose, right? He chuckles, sees his chance to grab my hand and kiss it.
Staking his claim. Mrs. Song.
Weekend, Qingyin brought her husband to town for vacation. Meal for 4, strangely tense, unspoken rivalry. Refined engineer Lin Yu. He was a typical science guy. He pushed up his glasses and peeled shrimp for my friend Qingyin.
Qingyin, this shrimp's high in protein. You've been working overtime.
Before I could sigh, Qingyin finally turned hardship into sweetness. When on my plate, a mountain of crab appeared. Song Wengshuan wiped his hands, using a wet towel, wiping his knuckles, said casually.
Shrimp is cold. You have a weak stomach. Eat the crab leg. I already picked out the ginger.
Lin Yu glanced at Song Wengshuan, picked fish bones for Qingyin. Not to be outdone, Song Wengshuan had the kitchen bring a bowl of bird's nest soup stewed 4 hours, placed it by my hand, under the table. Qingyin and I frantically kicking each other's feet, holding back laughter till stomachs hurt. These 2 men, almost 80 combined, acted childish, like kids fighting over a red flower. After dinner, Qingyin took me for a riverside walk, leaving the guys to wash dishes. Qingyin laughed heartily.
Song Wengshuan, so possessive. You'd think my husband was trying to steal his wife.
I sighed, but I couldn't stop smiling. Let him be. Maybe he was suppressed for too long in the book. Years crossing time and space. He got too insecure. His possessiveness is bursting out. Qingyin took my arm, gazing at the river lights, her eyes tender.
Lanlin, seeing you like this, I feel... not dragging you back. That first year was worth it.
That night, I got home. Song Wengshuan hugged me from behind, chin on my shoulder, smelling of shower gel. He asked softly,
Had a good day?
I was happy. Watching you 2 grown men secretly competing, how could I not be? I turned around. Mr. Song, aren't you being too childish today? I pinched his nose. He caught my hand, brought it to his lips, and kissed it, his gaze deep.
Jolan. I was a little jealous today.
I was stunned. What are you jealous about? Lin Yu.
No.
He shook his head.
I'm jealous of those 10 years. And of your past. You have the bond of growing up together, and our orphanage past depending on each other.
He sighed softly.
How I wish that I've protected you since childhood.
My heart instantly melted into a puddle. This man, who seemed so capable on the outside, deep down, about the time we missed, has always been bothered. I stood on tiptoe and kissed him. Song Wenxuan, I didn't need you to protect me in the past. I looked into his eyes and said earnestly, but every day of my future, I leave it to you. Protect me well. Emotions churned violently in his eyes. He suddenly tightened his arms, pulling me deep into his embrace.
Okay,
His voice was terribly hoarse.
I'll protect you with my life.
Waiting for the Wind is way more popular than I thought. Some crazy readers even followed clues and found our tea house in this Jiangnan town. That afternoon, a female student with black-framed glasses excitedly leaned to the counter, gazed at Song Wenxuan fiddling with a red sandalwood abacus.
Excuse me. Please are you that time-traveling 2D husband? Song Wenxuan, Mr. Song from Waiting for the Wind?
Song Wenxuan stopped, looked up, his gold-rimmed glasses reflecting an aloof gleam. He said coolly,
Let me correct you. I'm a legal husband, not a 2D character.
but with unconcealed pride. College girl let out a suppressed groundhog squeal, excitedly pulled out a book for an autograph. Song Wenxuan signed it, then naturally, next to his name, drew a heart around my pen name. I watched and facepalmed. This man doesn't even get jealous of readers, now openly flaunts their love. Early summer, Jiangnan entered plum rain season. Town's bluestone paths wet all day. Tea house business slowed. I was in a private room on the second floor, facing the river, leaning on a soft couch, rushing to finish my new book manuscript. Song Wenxuan sat opposite me, brewing a pot of aged white tea. Raindrops hit the canopy of a black awning boat, making a dull pitter-patter. I finished typing the last word and stretched with a big yawn. Song Wenxuan, I suddenly remembered something. He handed over tea at the perfect temperature.
What is it?
In the world of the book, before you left, you transferred all the assets. Then after Zhou Xian got out of prison, wouldn't he end up with nothing? Song Wenxuan blew on the tea steam, mouth curling into a capitalist's cold smile.
He, after prison, saddled with bad debts. Before I left the pit from Zhou's shabby factory, all to him.
Almost spilled my tea from shock. When did you do that? How come I didn't know? He ruffled my hair, with a nonchalant tone.
Just when you were feeling sad every day about leaving those who bullied my wife. How could I let them walk away unscathed?
His refined scoundrel face, silently in my heart, lit a candle for Zhou Xian. Who else could they mess with? But they had to mess with my male lead. For the new book signing, Song Wenxuan and I went back to the big city. Since he came to the real world, this was the first time he took me to a modern city. The publishing house's editor-in-chief was a decisive, efficient career woman. She wanted to talk at length with me about business expansion. Song Wenxuan sat down beside me. His suit exuded a sharp, imposing aura, and intimidated the editor-in-chief.
Tiered royalty split for digital rights. The percentage you offered seems lower than the current industry highest standard by 3 percentage points.
Song Wenxuan flipped through the contract. He pointed at a clause, hit the nail on the head. The editor-in-chief wiped her forehead, her confidence weakened.
Ah, well, we can discuss it further.
Throughout the negotiation, I was an accessory, sipping coffee on the side, watching my husband step out of my book, use his amazing learning ability and business instinct to outclass workplace elites. After signing the contract, the editor-in-chief took my hand, lowered her voice and exclaimed,
Zhou Lan, your husband. Which multinational company's executive? His negotiation skills are terrifying.
Watching him walk ahead, head lowered, searching his phone for the best nearby private kitchen. Song Wenxuan. Him? He's my priceless treasure. Written by my own hand. The signing event was way more packed than I'd imagined. The organizers had only scheduled 2 hours, but the line ended up stretching outside the mall. My wrist ached from signing, and I had to keep smiling while answering all sorts of bizarre questions from readers.
Landa? The male lead in your book is too perfect. Is there really someone like that in real life? Did you just add your idealistic filter?
A ponytailed girl asked, eyes sparkling. I shook my aching wrist and tilted my chin toward the rest area. Here, no filter. The original is right there. Following my gaze, hundreds of eyes turned to the corner. Song Wenxuan wore that bespoke suit, sitting on the sofa, legs crossed. But in his hands he was holding a completely mismatched pink thermos, and my knitted cardigan was draped over his arm. Noticing everyone's gaze, he gave a slight nod, by way of greeting. Then his gaze landed precisely back on me, with a slight frown, as if concerned about me rubbing my wrist. The line instantly erupted in suppressed screams. Even a bold female reader ran over, blushing, and asked,
Hey handsome, can I add you on WeChat?
Song Wenxuan didn't even look up, and slowly placed his left hand on his knee, the wedding ring on his ring finger, sparkling under the light.
Sorry. My wife manages my WeChat. My allowance only covers groceries. Has no social functions.
The crowd went wild. After the book signing, hashtags, fairy tale love, and grocery shopping CEO were forced onto trending lists by readers. After we returned to the small town, life returned to normal. Recently, obsessed with a tower-pushing mobile game, every night on the sofa, grinding for rank, only to be frustrated by random teammates, beating my chest. Is this jungler sleepwalking? Bottom lane's almost destroyed, still picking mushrooms. Phone screen went gray so angry I wanted to throw it. Song Wenchuan just showered, walked over, still damp, snatched my phone.
Very angry. Is it that hard?
I was fuming. It's not about whether it's difficult, it's the matchmaking system messing with my head. Next evening, as I was about to continue suffering, Song Wengswan sent me a party invite. His game ID was simple and direct. It was Lanlin's exclusive support. I was shocked. When did you download the game? You know how to play? This isn't a corporate M&A. 10 minutes later, I shut up. Song Wenxuan, with his calculation skills and strategic vision, ran circles around the opponents. He cleared out the enemy's jungle. Then, with the best gear, he followed me around the entire time, feeding me kills on a silver platter.
Take them.
His slender fingers moved unhurriedly across the screen, and his tone was casual.
You're bullies. I've killed them all for you.
Playing all night, I learned firsthand what it's like to be carried by a pro. Looking at the flashing victory on the screen, I couldn't help but sigh. President Song, with your learning ability, it's a pity you're not playing professionally. He put down his phone. He pulled me into his arms and gently kissed my forehead.
No. Pro players can't bring family. Only support for you.
That winter, first snow fell in Jiangnan. Fluffy snowflakes fell on bluestone slabs and black awning boats, making the town like an inkwash painting. Tea house closed early. Under the courtyard eaves, set up a small stove. Gathered around to brew tea. On the red clay stove, the tea gurgled and steamed. Beside it, we roasted oranges and chestnuts. Our fat cat, named Osmanthus, had never seen such heavy snow, and excitedly frolicked in the snow, but then it took a misstep. Half of its body sank into a snow pit, meowing pitifully. Song Wengshuan reluctantly put down his teacup, walked over, picked up the shivering fat orange cat, held it in his arms, brushed snow off its fur, stuffed it inside my coat.
Don't let it freeze.
He sat back beside me, and easily peeled a piping hot chestnut, blew on it, and fed it to me.
Don't want you to freeze.
The chestnut was sweet, warmth spread from my mouth to my stomach. I leaned on his shoulder, looking at the osmanthus tree in the courtyard, covered with white snow. Song Wengshuan.
Yeah?
Ever regretted it? Abandoning that world, calling the wind and rain? I asked softly, coming here. To live this kind of life with me, worrying about daily necessities, and a cat every day? His hand stirring the charcoal fire paused. He turned to look at me, his gaze gentler and brighter than the fire.
Zhou Lan. When you wrote the book, you gave me wealth, status, reason. But you never gave me a beating heart.
He tucked my windblown hair behind my ear, voice low, reverent.
After meeting you, I truly came alive. Here, you, a cat, and everyday warmth. For me, this isn't abandonment. Wish fulfilled.
The snow fell harder, but his hand holding mine was burning hot. After spring arrived, the weather in the Jiangnan region gradually warmed, and the number of tourists in the small town increased. I discovered a serious problem. Song Wengshuan had no driver's license. Although in the setting of the era in the book, he often drove that Santana to business meetings, the traffic rules and road conditions in modern society were completely different after all. As a law-abiding good citizen, I wasted no time and signed him up for a driving school. Watching that man, usually in haute couture shirts with a cool, noble air, forced into the driving school's weather-beaten, shabby training car, I stood outside the wire fence, nearly bursting out laughing.
What are you laughing at?
He rolled down the window, looking at me with helpless, indulgent eyes. Nothing. Just think Mr. Song, with that look of hardship, is so down to earth. I held back a laugh, and handed him ice water through the car window. His assigned instructor was notoriously hot-tempered. These days, I've seen him scold several college students to tears. When Song Wengshuan's turn to get in, the atmosphere got incredibly strange. Song Wenchuan wasn't scolded. He made the instructor question his own existence. Practicing reverse parking, he didn't just memorize instructions, or turn at a certain pole. Instead, he got out of the car, looked at the area and vehicle, adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses.
And based on the car's wheelbase and turning radius, as well as the blind spot refraction rate of the mirrors, he calculated the perfect tangent angle for reversing.
He even, in midair, traced a geometric figure. The instructor in the passenger seat, cigarette hand trembling slightly, looked like he saw an alien.
Man, just getting a license? Not building a car or missile? Can you just drive?
Without suspense, Song Wengshuan, at record speed, with a perfect score, obtained his driver's license. The day he got his license, to celebrate, I picked up an SUV I'd been eyeing as a daily driver, planning to see an exhibition in the next city over the weekend. With the new car, he drove one-handed, lazy but skilled. His other hand naturally crossed the console. Took mine, our fingers interlocking. "Driver Song, you're new. Keep eyes on road," I said, but my hand didn't pull away at all. He chuckled softly, his gaze deep as he glanced at me.
Don't worry. With my calculation and reflexes, no mishaps. Keep you safe forever, confident.
After the art exhibition, we had dinner at a nearby high-end Western restaurant. At the next table sat several suited men, seemed investment firm executives, over a tricky cross-border M&A case, arguing heatedly, looking gloomy. Song Wenchuan had been attentively cutting my steak, but after hearing a few technical terms they blurted out, his cutting motion paused slightly. The boss, a middle-aged man, was so anxious he pulled his hair. Song Wengshuan placed the evenly cut steak in front of me, then leisurely wiped the corner of his mouth with a napkin. Not even turning his head, he used that cold, detached voice of Mr. Song of Nanxing, devoid of warmth, casually tossed a remark.
You're overlooking the target company's hidden debts in the offshore islands. Check their subsidiaries' cross-shareholding ratio in the Cayman Islands. The loophole is there.
Next table went silent. CEO stunned for half-minute, then slapped his thigh, enlightened. He excitedly ran over and handed his business card.
Sir, your words woke me from a dream. May I ask where you are currently employed? 8 million annual salary plus options. Join our VC firm as a partner?
Song Wengshuan didn't look up, didn't take the card either. He stood up gracefully, picked up my coat, and draped it over me.
Sorry, I'm busy.
His tone was distant.
Then what are you busy with now? $1 billion project.
The CEO, unwilling to give up, looked at him with awe. Song Wengshuan checked his watch, his expression serious and devout.
Said he's busy going home to make spare rib soup for his wife. Timing is perfect. If late, meat will be tough.
CEO left holding his card bewildered in the wind. Tea house business suddenly boomed. It started when a food and travel vlogger secretly filmed a video of Song Wengshuan brewing tea and posted online. In the video, he wore a white shirt, deep eyes behind gold-rimmed glasses, slender fingers moving gracefully handling the purple clay tea set, against an antique backdrop, and the misty rain of Jiangnan. Video got over 1 million likes overnight. Netizens flooded comments.
What is this? A celibate tycoon from a novel? 3 minutes. I want everything on this man.
The tea house welcomed many young girls to check in. I sat behind the counter, chin on hand, and watched as the once peaceful tea house became noisy like a trendy cafe, feeling upset. Though I knew Song Wengshuan wouldn't care, but seeing my private treasure gawked at by others still gave me possessive annoyance. Song Wengshuan came over with a plate of freshly cut fruit and walked to my side. He keenly sensed my foul mood. He followed my gaze to look outside, at the girls secretly taking photos with their phones. He frowned. Cha-Cha seemed to understand. Next day, a wooden sign appeared at the tea house entrance. And Guan's boss lady, written in his powerful calligraphy by his own hand, respectfully.
Married. Boss lady has a temper. Secret photos find. Flirting costs double. Best, the henpecked boss.
Not only that, he also swapped out his usual white shirt, strangers keep away, and put on an apron I'd previously ordered online for him for fun, with big words printed in the middle, taken, strangers keep away. Several girls who had come from afar to check in saw this display, quietly put down their phones. Heartbroken, they updated their status online.
Forget it, sisters. The big shot married young, but also a pure love warrior, slays single dogs without blinking.
Weekend, Qingyan and Lin Yu came to hang out with us. Qingyan's obsessed with immersive horror escape rooms and insisted on dragging us four to a new place in the city to try it. Before going in, Qingyan tugged Lin Yu's sleeve. I also moved closer to Song Wengshuan. Song Wengshuan held my hand in his, gave it a gentle squeeze,
and said steadily, "Don't be afraid. I'm here."
After the game started, we groped our way through the dark, cramped corridor. Suddenly, a female ghost NPC with disheveled hair burst out from a cabinet, accompanied by a piercing sound effect. Qingyan and I screamed in terror, eyes closed, clinging together. Though Lin Yu was startled, his science guy instinct made him quickly start analyzing.
Qingyan, don't be afraid. Infrared sensor under this cabinet. Hydraulic rod ejection. Trigger delay to 1.5 seconds.
Song Wengshuan took a completely different approach. Ignoring the female ghost still flailing, he then looked up and scanned the surrounding walls and ceiling.
Based on load-bearing wall direction and ventilation duct layout, this room's actual space was 1/3 smaller than it appeared.
He pushed up his glasses, his gaze locked onto a painting in the corner.
Hidden door. Not behind cabinet, but in the compartment behind that painting, where marks on the lock show. The 4 most frequently used numbers are 2, 5, 7, 9.
He walked over and, in less than 5 seconds, with a click, the door to the next level opened. The female ghost NPC still hanging on the cabinet door was stunned. Her eyes under the wig were filled with self-doubt about her career. The next hour turned into a battle of wits between them. Lin Yu cracked the mechanisms and figured out the physics and circuits. Song Wengshuan was responsible for, from psychological and architectural perspective, deconstructing escape room owners' tricks. Originally 3-hour, ultra-scary escape room, clearance rate under 10%, they forced it into Engineering Inspection and Architectural Deconstruction Guide. We pushed open the final door, an hour and a half early. The escape room owner, near tears, saw us out. Leaving, almost pleading, he said to Song Wen-swan,
Bro, add WeChat. My new store opens. Come as beta tester. You made all my NPCs shut down today.
Coming out of the mall, the autumn night breeze was chilly. Qingyan and Lin Yu crossed the street for roasted sweet potatoes. Song Wen-swan took my hands, held them in his palms, rubbing them to warm me. Actually, in that dark room just now. Did you see the clue long ago? I leaned against his chest, looked up, and asked him. He didn't deny it and chuckled softly.
I was afraid you'd get scared if you stayed too long. So I just skipped the middle decryption steps.
Mr. Song, you're ruining the game experience. I put on a stern face. He lowered his head, affectionately rubbed his nose against mine. In his deep eyes, reflected the city's neon lights.
To me, Zhou Lan, pre-written scripts, preset mechanisms, all mean nothing.
He tightened his embrace. His voice was low and gentle.
Cross time and space, not to play games with others. My only goal in this game is you.
I looked at his features. So close, my heart skipped. In the real world, no system, no progress bars, no God's eye view. But as long as he's by my side, this is the best story I've ever written. But recently, I've been stuck on my new book. Editor said, Market wants young cute puppy-like male leads. Younger than the female lead, can act coy, blush, and at the drop of a hat get teary-eyed and call her sis. As an author used to writing strategic, aloof, noble male lead, I gritted my teeth and tried switching genres. At night, staring at the screen, struggling with words, Song Wen-swan brought warm milk and walked into the study. He stood behind me, beautiful, his knuckled hands, massaged my sore shoulders, beautiful, his eyes swept my screen. On screen, the male lead, afraid of the dark, pitifully crawled into the female lead's bed.
Big sis, it's so dark outside. Scared alone, can I hug you?
The hand massaging my shoulder paused. The air in the study suddenly went silent for 3 seconds.
What is this?
Song Wen-swan's voice came from above. It was still that calm and unruffled tone, but I could unmistakably detect a hint of dangerous coldness. The new novel's male lead. I swallowed and tried to explain. Market demand readers these days go for this sort of thing. Song Wen-swan pushed up his glasses and leaned down. He put both hands on my chair's armrests, trapping me in his arms.
A grown man afraid of a power outage.
He used a rational, business-like tone to analyze.
In a crisis? His stress tolerance and crisis management ability are almost zero. Zhou Lan, I'm sure you want to entrust the heroine's safety to someone like this?
I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just a novel setting. To boost Sue appeal and contrast Mo, he stared at Sis on screen and let out a cold laugh. Then he turned and left the study. 10 minutes later, the lights in the study suddenly went out with a snap. The power was out. I was just about to grab my phone to turn on the flashlight. A tall, dark figure silently stepped behind me and scooped me up into his arms from behind.
Honey, so dark outside. Scared all alone, can I hold you?
Song Wen-swan rested his chin on my neck. In his deep, bass voice, recited the lines flatly. Mr. Song, your green tea acting is stiff, okay? To stop me writing about that puppy, Song Wen-swan started a full protest. The next morning, as soon as I opened my eyes, I saw him wearing a pure white, loose t-shirt. It was the most youthful piece of clothing in his wardrobe. Even when sleeping, he'd rather wear haute couture silk pajamas. He brought breakfast, sat by the bed, looking at me, hesitating to speak. What's wrong with you now? I took a bite of the perfectly toasted toast. He sighed, gazing at me with deep eyes.
I looked up last night. The current trends, and they say that kind of young guy can provide better emotional value.
Almost choked on the toast, sipped milk to wash it down. He wiped the corner of my mouth, with unwillingness in his tone.
But Zhou Lan, emotional value relies on material foundation and problem-solving ability. He just cries and calls you sis. I can get the director of the Power Supply Bureau, who caused the blackout, to come over for tea. Now, who's more practical?
Couldn't hold back, collapsed onto the bed, laughing and rolling. This man, in business, who is decisive, ruthless, never miscalculates, is arguing with a fictional character, and using M&A logic to argue that he deserves love more than a puppy-like boyfriend. Laughing, I sat up, wrapped my arms around his neck, and gave him a hard kiss. Song Wen-swan, are you stupid? Just work. I looked into his eyes, inches away, and said seriously, I've written many male leads, domineering CEOs, generals, now puppy-like boyfriends, but those are all written for the readers. I touched the beauty mark at the corner of his eye. Only you are the one I kept for myself, to spend the rest of my life with. His eyes darkened. His Adam's apple bobbed. He turned the tables, pressing me into the bedding. His kisses rained down.
Zhou Lan, you're breaking the rules. After you finish this book, change the male lead back to my type.
He panted against my lips, making a demand.
In your books, the male lead is my reflection.
After autumn began, we welcomed Song Wen-swan's first anniversary in the real world, when he completed unsealing his memories and appeared in my tea house courtyard. I had originally planned to cook myself and make him a candlelit dinner, but in the afternoon, He drove me to a professional recording studio in the city center. Confused, I was led inside by him. The studio owner saw him and immediately came up to him respectfully.
Mr. Song, post-production is done. Master tape ready anytime.
Song Wengshuan nodded and signaled to play it. I put on headphones, and from inside came a male voice, so familiar I couldn't mistake it. Song Wengshuan's voice. He was reading a narration from a novel. As the plot unfolded, my eyes gradually widened, and I couldn't stop my eyes from welling up. What he recorded wasn't any of my recent bestsellers, but the one from when I was 18, on an old computer at the orphanage, the first novel I ever typed. Amateur writing and cliché plot. It didn't get signed by a publisher, long buried in the internet's trash heap. It was my darkest, most financially strained period when it was written. Even I almost forgot it. Took off headphones, voice trembling. How did you find it? Song Wengshuan smoothed my hair, his eyes brimming with tenderness. He took my hand and kissed it gently.
Ask Lin Yu to scrape the old site's database to dig out the data. I spent a month turning this book into an audio drama.
Tears fell. Why did you record this?
Because of the world in that book. I missed your past. I wasn't there when you were bullied, to protect you, or to be with you through your hardest times.
He wiped my tears with his thumb, his tone solemn and affectionate.
Jolan, your present and future are mine. Your past, I want to become a part of it bit by bit. This book no one has read. I will be its only and most faithful listener.
I threw myself into his arms, wrapped my arms around his waist, crying too hard to speak. In that moment, I was certain, all the redemption stories I'd written, and Song Wengshuan was my only redemption. Recently, Song Wengshuan opened a door to a new world, online shopping. I complained one day, from hunching over my writing, my neck got sore. The next afternoon, 3 delivery trucks parked outside the tea house. Delivery guys, sweating, unloaded over a dozen huge cardboard boxes, each like a mountain, blocked the tea house entrance. Held my teacup, stared dumbfounded, turned to Song Wengshuan behind the counter, watching financial news. Stock up on goods behind my back? Turning the tea house into a grocery store? Slowly took off his gold-rimmed glasses, walked over, arm around my shoulder.
I did research yesterday on algorithms and supply chains of modern e-commerce.
He used a rigorous tone for billion-dollar projects and said,
Regarding your neck pain, I bought the top 20 ergonomic chairs on the market, 10 infrared therapy devices with different wavelengths, and 5 types of neck pillows made of different materials.
I gasped. Why so many? Opening an experience center?
Because online review data has about 30% fake bot interference, ROI can't be calculated accurately. The best due diligence,
He said confidently.
buy everything back? Let you do blind test yourself. Items failing the test go through 7-day unconditional return.
Looked at the blind test equipment, worth maybe 6 figures, and felt the capitalist's lavishness and eccentric thinking. Over the next week, the second floor of the tea house became my physical therapy center. Aloof President Song, wearing white gloves daily, holding a little notebook, like a meticulous researcher, meticulously recorded my feedback data from sitting on every chair. Finally, based on my pressure distribution and muscle fatigue curve, he custom-made a unique chair. For the remaining returns, I heard the courier in our area upon seeing Song Wengshuan those days. His legs would go weak. Waiting for the Wind was a huge hit. The film and TV rights were quickly bought at a high price by a top domestic studio. As the original author and script consultant, the production company specially invited me to a casting seminar in the city. Song Wengshuan had a video conference on cross-border M&A in the city, promised to pick me up after the meeting. At the seminar, producer excitedly showed photos of popular young male idols on projector, all with red lips and white teeth. Idols with delicate makeup.
Teacher Joel, look at these guys. Huge fan bases. Bring their own traffic. Playing this romantic domineering CEO will blow up the hot search.
The producer rambled. I looked at those faces on screen, more delicate than mine. My eye twitched. This isn't a romantic domineering CEO. This is an underage young master trying too hard to look profound. The vibe is completely off. Just as the producer was trying to convince me with data and traffic, the conference room door was pushed open. Song Wengshuan, wearing a bespoke black suit, walked in with a chilling aura. Behind him, followed several assistants in suits and ties. The room fell silent. The producer was stunned.
And quickly stood up. Sir, you are?
I'm Jolan's family.
Song Wengshuan naturally walked over to me, pulled out a chair and sat down. Then, his assistant handed a document to the producer.
And also the biggest investor in this drama.
He added nonchalantly. Producer saw the investment amount, eyes nearly popping out. His attitude took a 180.
Oh my, Mr. Song. What are your instructions?
Song Wengshuan raised his eyes, coldly scanning the screen at the photos of young idols.
The jawline is wrong. The eyes lack life experience. The shoulders can't carry a haute couture suit, let alone the brutality of business warfare.
He used business perspective mercilessly to launch a dimensionality reduction strike. Producer wiped sweat.
So what do you mean?
My wife wrote about a flesh and blood character who transcends life and death.
Song Wengshuan turned, gazed at me deeply, a faint smile on his lips.
They look at my wife with no light in their eyes. Can't portray that decade-long love.
Under pressure from the biggest investor. Low-key lead chosen, but solid acting skills. Seasoned award-winning actor with deep eyes and rich life experience. On the way back, I couldn't help teasing him. Mr. Song. Tens of millions poured in just for a casting choice. Impulsive purchase. Grip the wheel, eyes fixed ahead. His tone utterly matter-of-fact.
Investment has risks, but safeguarding my dignity as the prototype, and my wife's hard work, is a foolproof deal.
Fat orange cat Osmanthus, status rising fast lately. First brought him home, Song Wengshuan, toward this shedding carbon-based lifeform, kept a safe distance. Ever since he discovered that, whenever this cat came near me, I'd stop whatever I was doing, and pet him. Song Wengshuan launched a roundabout strategy for attention, rushing to finish a manuscript that afternoon, when I heard a strange noise from the living room. I peeked over and saw the man who couldn't even stand, a single wrinkle on his suit, a clean freak, was now sitting on the carpet, not caring about his image. He was holding a cat teaser, expressionlessly, drawing standard geometric shapes in the air.
Osmanthus, aerodynamics says lower launch angle by 5 degrees to hit the target.
He even used physics to guide a cat to catch a feather. Even more amazing, the fat orange cat seemed to understand, crouched, leaped, pounced, and hit the target in one go. Song Wengshuan nodded, and generously opened a poured expensive meat into the bowl. I leaned against the doorframe, watching the man and cat, and said sourly, Song Wengshuan, you're now more patient with a cat than you are with me. Yesterday, I asked you to watch a soap opera. You said the lead's logic made no sense. He looked up. His eyes behind his gold-rimmed glasses crinkled slightly. He stood up and walked over, casually pinched my cheek, and whispered coaxingly,
Mrs. Song, this is cultivating a strategic alliance.
What strategic alliance?
Osmanthus listens to me now.
He glanced at the chubby orange cat eating happily, then leaned close to my ear, voice low, hoarse, seductive.
So tonight, if it scratches at the bedroom door again, with just one command from me, it will obediently go back to its cat bed.
His slender fingers, slowly and methodically, rolled up a strand of my hair.
Like this. No one will disturb us.
I flushed and glared at him. This old fox, always scheming. He even calculated a cat's daily routine, and worked it into his plans. Early winter in Jiangnan always brings damp cold. Song Wengshuan, business world's master, turned clouds and rain, endured system punishment, transcended time and space, brought down by a sudden flu. He lay in bed, brows furrowed, his face flushed an abnormal red from the fever. But even with a fever, he still clutched a tablet in his hand, using big data to analyze the mutated flu strain and its incubation curve. Snatched the tablet from him, with a slap, stuck a fever patch on his forehead. CEO Song, viruses aren't under your VC. Now close your eyes and sleep. He opened his eyes, glistening with moisture, shedding his usual coldness and sharpness. He actually looked a bit pitiful.
Jolan, my temperature over 38.5 degrees. My heart's racing. According to medical knowledge, I need physical cooling.
His voice was hoarse. He still tried to use scientific rigor to mask his vulnerability. I held warm water and pills, looking at him. So? He reached out his burning hand, pulled me into bed, like a big dog, wrapped his arms tight around my waist, burying his face in my neck.
According to the second law of thermodynamics, heat spontaneously transfers from a hot object to a cold object.
With his eyes closed, he murmured against my skin.
Honey, hold me tighter and help me cool down.
Laughed in exasperation. Even sick, he makes taking advantage of me sound noble. As expected of you, Song Wengshuan. Let Song Wengshuan rest well. And because influencers overran the tea house, making a mess, we closed for a week and went on a road trip. Qingyan heard we'd lay low. She sent a doc in group chat, a 10-page offbeat travel guide for Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Shanghai, with a note saying,
You're welcome. Lin Yu stayed up late last night, using a web crawler to scrape data from major travel sites, built a cross-evaluation model, and filtered it out.
Looked at that guide, even the distance to each restroom was accurate to the meter, and marveled at the science guy's execution skills, terrifyingly impressive. Song Wengshuan drove his new SUV, with me and the cat Osmanthus, and drove into a hot spring town in a valley. No bustling crowds of tourists, only hillsides with red leaves and steam from the hot springs. The guest house was a traditional Japanese courtyard, changed into yukatas soaked in the private hot spring. Song Wengshuan leaned by the pool, eyes closed. Steam blurred his sharp features, water droplets slid down his muscles, made my face flush.
Enjoying the view?
He didn't even open his eyes, but it was as if he had a radar on me, a teasing smile, tugging at the corner of his lip. I forced myself to look away, admiring the view. Who's looking at you? With a splash, he suddenly leaned over, trapping me between the pool wall and his burning chest.
Is the view better than me?
He chuckled softly, voice and warm steam sounded seductive. Hot spring heat made me dizzy, his eyes so close to mine, heartbeat out of control. Song Wengshuan. I was about to speak when he suddenly lowered his head and kissed my lips. It was a kiss with a faint sweet tea fragrance, gentle yet intensely aggressive. I was kissed breathless, and could only cling to his shoulders. After a long while, he finally let go of me reluctantly, resting his chin on top of my head and steadying his breath.
Lanlin, do you know?
He suddenly spoke, his voice a bit hoarse.
In that world without you, fantasized so many times about this scene.
I froze for a moment and listened quietly as he continued.
I imagined that one day, wouldn't have to face those deceitful business wars or calculate any plot twists. It would be just the two of us, finding a quiet place, killing time.
He tightened his arms, holding me even closer.
At that time, this fantasy was the only pillar that sustained me. Time and again, through mental stripping and memory seal training.
My heart jolted, and my eyes instantly reddened. That system, with just a few words, had so casually dismissed the memory seal. What lay behind it, the countless agonizing days and nights he endured? I raised my head and cupped his face. Looked at him seriously. Song Wing Swan, the fantasy is over. I kissed him reverently, on his lips. Now, this is real life. We have a very long time to spend time together. Home. He looked at me, the light in his eyes brighter than countless stars. He smiled and replied,
Okay, whiling away time with you is the best investment I've ever made.
After our road trip, the tea house reopened. With Waiting for the Wind blowing up, online, not only daily comments begging for updates like hungry chicks, but tons of fanfics also sprang up. One evening, scrolling my phone, I saw a trending hashtag super topic called Lanlin and Mr. Song's daily married life. I clicked in and, oh boy, full of wildly imaginative fanfics, runaway with a baby tropes, the amnesiacs, stand-in for white moonlight, amnesia tropes, and even runaway sweet wife, Mr. Song's global manhunt. Such old-school, cringeworthy literature. Curled up on the sofa, reading a fanfic, secretly married sweet wife, Mr. Song, please be gentle, with relish, occasionally giggling softly. Song Wangswan came over with a plate of sliced fruit, his gaze zeroed in on the text on my screen.
Woman, you're playing with fire.
He raised a brow, and in his deep, textured voice, read the line on screen, his voice laced with dangerous amusement.
Jolan, your recent reading taste seems to have taken a rather bizarre turn.
I shoved my phone under the sofa cushion, forced a laugh, tried to bluff, said it was a reader's fanfic. I was just casually reading it, checking out the market trends. After all, knowing yourself and your enemy ensures victory in every battle. Song Wangshuan didn't say a word, just slowly put down the fruit plate, and turned back to the study. 10 minutes later, Song Wangshuan returned with his tablet, and sat beside me. The screen displayed that super topic. I watched helplessly as this man who made millions a minute, a venture capital big shot, slid his fingers across the screen, and used extremely rigorous business and legal logic to review fanfics.
This fourth love rich family story. To keep the female lead, the male lead cut off all her money, and even locked her up in a villa on an island.
Song Wangswan pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, his brow furrowed.
This behavior violates Criminal Law Article 238, constitutes unlawful detention. Author's legal ignorance, simply outrageous.
He swiped to the next one.
Said, this contract lover story with a domineering CEO, so-called one-page contract, terms are extremely sloppy, penalty clause, even violates fairness principle of contract law, making it an invalid clause. This contract, even a junior legal review, couldn't pass, and the male lead signed it. His company hasn't gone bankrupt yet. Is a business miracle.
Hugging a pillow, laughing so hard tears came out. Mr. Song, that's fiction, or artistic embellishment, and that's what people want to read. The thrill of push-pull tension. Who cares if your contracts are legally sound or not? He put down the tablet, turned to look at me, with a hint of unfathomable confusion and extremely earnest disapproval in his eyes. He corrected me.
But they're writing about me. I would never sign that kind of contract full of loopholes, let alone use criminal means to keep you here. This kind of idiotic behavior, an insult to my competence and integrity.
Seeing his serious defense of his CEO dignity, my heart suddenly melted completely. I leaned over, cupped his face in both hands, and planted a big, loud kiss on his lips. I know. The real Song Wangshuan is a law-abiding, extremely intelligent husband who would never hurt me, an absolutely perfect one. I flattered him with a smile. His seriousness melted instantly. He tried to hide it, but his lips curled. He still tried to stay composed.
It's good that you know.
After saying that, he glanced again at the super topic on the tablet, as if he had made some kind of decision. Next day, a new user appeared in the super topic, named Song Something Waiting for the Wind, and under that rich family captive love post, left an 800-word comment. Criminal sentencing standards, VC risk control, conclusion.
Gigi Jian, based on analysis, the real Song Wenchuan when facing a relationship crisis. When establish long-term trust, Xinlei, and transfer his assets, Xinlei, and transfer his assets, and transfer his assets, Yang. Also, wish you all a happy life, and watch less legally illiterate stuff.
Super topic boiled over. Readers thought this was some argumentative legal scholar causing trouble. The comments below all, ha ha ha, worshipping the big shot. Only I knew that this was the person himself debunking the rumor. Reading those comments, laughed so hard I couldn't stand up, while culprit Song Wangshuan stood next to me, calmly brewing Zhengshan Xiaojiang tea, as if he just completed a multi-billion-dollar cross-border M&A case with such composure. He pushed the poured tea in front of me, and said lightly,
Upholding the truth is my duty as your legal husband.
As the year was ending, the festive mood in the small town grew stronger. To welcome the new year, Song Wenxuan and I started cleaning the tea house and the backyard thoroughly. While sorting through the topmost storage cabinet in the study, a dust-covered cardboard box fell down. The box wasn't sealed, and inside it was a pile of old newspapers from over a decade ago, a few dried-up pens, and a black leather notebook with a combination lock. What is this? I dusted it off and examined the notebook curiously. Song Wenxuan stood on a ladder cleaning windows. He glanced back, his expression stiffened.
It's nothing. Just some discarded data records from my VC days. Throw it away.
The more he brushed it off like that, the more my tabloid instincts as a novelist went off like crazy. What's the combination? I held onto the notebook tightly. He sighed, climbed down, and his ears flushed a suspicious pink.
Your birthday.
I deftly turned the combination lock, and with a click, the notebook opened. This isn't venture capital data. It's the diary he kept during his memory seal removal training and his initial arrival in this world, spanning those 3 years. Opening pages strict, meticulous hand, cold, clinical, like a science student.
Log. Day 1. Alert. Memory extraction ongoing. Before memory loss, set core subconscious anchor. Subject. Jolan. Day 45. Memory loss rate 60%. Forgetting her voice frequency and her face specifics. Speak plainly.
Flipping through pages, neat handwriting turns messy, frantic, pen pressing hard.
Passed a flower shop. Smelled osmanthus. Felt sudden angina. Must be waiting for someone. Can't remember her name. Doctor said forcibly resisting memory seal causes irreversible brain damage. My mind empty. If I don't think, it's empty. Terrifying. Terrifying. No thinking, mind empty.
The last page is slightly wrinkled, like from water stains or tears. Just a short sentence, messy handwriting, but deeply engraved in my heart.
Even if I forgot the whole world, one look at her, my instinct would inevitably fall in love with her again.
I held the notebook, tears streaming down like beads off a broken string, pattering down, blurring my vision. Song Wenxuan's warm palm covered my cheek, gently wiping away my tears. He pulled me into his arms, his chin resting on the top of my head, and let out a helpless sigh.
Didn't I tell you to throw it away? Reading this just makes you cry.
I clutched the front of his shirt, sobbing uncontrollably. You're a big liar. You told me back then the memory seal training wouldn't hurt just like falling asleep.
Didn't hurt.
He lowered his head and reverently kissed my eyelids, hissing away all those tears. His voice was so gentle it could drown you.
Now, holding you, all those past feelings no longer count at all.
New Year's Eve, the sky lit up with fireworks. Qingyin and Lin Yu drove several hours to our Jiangnan town for New Year. The tea house hung red lanterns early. New Year's Eve dinner by Song Wenxuan and Lin Yu, 2 overachievers, secretly competed in the kitchen, turning a simple home-cooked meal into Michelin 3-star presentation and texture. After dinner, we, under the osmanthus tree in the yard, set up a tea table. Qingyin and I, holding hot tea, exchanged a smile.
Lanlin, looking at our life now, remember when we were in the book, outsmarting those scumbags? I really feel like it was all a long and thrilling dream.
Qingyin leaned back, overwhelmed, nodded, but my gaze drifted over steam and landed on Song Wenxuan peeling pine nuts for me. The night breeze was cool. Song Wenxuan noticed my gaze, pushed the small dish of peeled pine nuts in front of me, then casually took the cashmere shawl draped over the chair back and wrapped it around my shoulders, pulled me, shawl and all, into his embrace.
Talking about what?
He asked in a low voice, resting his chin in the crook of my neck. My next writing plan, snuggled closer into his arms, found a comfortable position, tilted my head up to smile. I've decided, for my next book, I won't write those dramatic, tragic romances. No face-slapping, feel-good fantasies. Song Wenxuan raised an eyebrow, clearly showing great interest in my new book plan.
No tragic novels? No power fantasies?
His slender fingers toyed with my hair.
Then what'll you write?
Kept him in suspense, took a sip of tea, gazed into the distance, fake deep. A farming novel. Soon as I said it, Qingyin, drinking tea nearby, spat out her tea. Qingyin looked at me in disbelief.
What did you say?
She wiped her mouth.
You... writing a farm novel? Someone who can't even keep a succulent alive, and you want to write a farming novel?
Not the same. Glared at her. Killed the succulent too busy. No time to care. I know how. Lin Yu pushed up his glasses and analyzed in his rigorous science-minded way.
According to basic botany, succulents are crassulaceae, drought-tolerant, prone to overwatering. Care difficulty among potted plants is relatively low. If your success rate with succulents cannot even be guaranteed, then expanding to more complex crop cultivation.
Cut him off. Stop. Okay. I said writing a farming novel, not actually farming. Literary creation? Okay, Song Wenxuan chuckled, pulled me closer.
Let her write. She can write anything. I'll support her anyway.
Jingyin rolled her eyes.
Fine. You're perfect for each other. None of my business.
Fireworks bloomed in the night sky, illuminating the town like daylight. Osmanthus got scared by fireworks, hid inside. Song Wenxuan was about to get it, but I stopped him. I said, "Let it hide. It's timid." Jingyin looked at us and sighed.
Lanlin, do you know? Sometimes I envy you.
Why envy me?
I envy you dared to save me back then. If you hadn't come back, I might have been worn to death by that plot.
Jingyin's voice was low.
At that time, I could barely hold on. Every day I woke up, I thought, why did I stay in that world?
I held her hand tight. But you came back. Jingyin raised her head.
Not only saved me,
eyes reddening,
also showed another possibility. I'm now with Lin Yu. Although every day is plain, it's very reassuring. This feeling I've never had before.
Lin Yu said nothing. He took Jingyin's hand, held it in his palm. Song Wenxuan also tightened his arm, around my shoulder. Now, the yard fell silent, only the crackling of charcoal, and sporadic distant fireworks. So, that's the reunion dinner meaning, right? I said with a smile. No matter what we've been through, finally, sit together, have hot tea, and watch the fireworks, is the best ending. After the new year, life returned to its usual rhythm. The tea house opened as usual. Song Wenxuan continued his henpecked boss persona, wearing that apron that says, "Taken," bustling around the shop. And I also started working on a new book. This time, it was a farming novel called Jiangnan Food Menu. A food blogger traveled back to ancient Jiangnan, with great cooking skills in modern farming, built a fortune. Biggest problem writing this story wasn't the plot, it was my hunger. Every time I wrote about cooking, my stomach would protest. Song Wenxuan quickly noticed this pattern. Because every time I finished a chapter, I would rush out of the study, ransacking the place for food.
I'm hungry.
He brought a bowl of fresh chicken noodle soup from the kitchen and placed it in front of me. I slurped the noodles and said indistinctly, "My own fault? Writing about red braised pork, steamed base, crab meat tofu? Am I not making myself suffer?" Song Wenxuan sat across me, hands crossed under his chin, watching me with a smile.
So, what dish are you writing about in the next chapter? I can prep the ingredients ahead.
My eyes lit up.
真的?
He smiled.
Why would I lie to you? I'm cooking anyway. Better to feed you directly than you ransack the kitchen.
Just like that, my writing progress and weight grew in direct proportion. After each food chapter, Song Wenxuan would take the book's dishes and recreate them exactly. Recreate them exactly, with a king, with a master. Recreate them exactly, calling it, helping author with field research to ensure authentic descriptions. I ate, moved to tears, thinking, this man is just too smooth. After Jingyin found out, she sent ellipses in the group chat, then said,
"Can you two stop being lovey-dovey? My husband's a straight-laced science guy. He can't learn such tricks. How am I supposed to live?"
I replied with a smug emoji. Can't help it. My husband is my own creation. I gave him all his skill points. Jingyin.
Well played.
Lin Yu quietly posted a link in the group. Learn cooking from scratch beginner's tutorial. Jingyin.
What do you mean?
Lin Yu.
Learning. Once I master it, you'll get the same treatment.
Jingyin and I both sent a long haha. Song Wenxuan glanced at the group chat and coolly commented,
Lin Yu's execution is good. He's a promising talent.
In spring, empty lot behind the tea house, we turned it into a small veggie garden. It started while writing a farming novel. My hands itched to try it, wanting to grow vegetables myself. After pestering Song Wenxuan for 3 days, he finally agreed. But he had one condition. He would do all the farm work, and I would only be a spectator.
You're an author, not a farmer.
He wore a straw hat, hoe in hand, said very seriously.
Your hands are for typing on a keyboard, not for getting blisters.
On the ridge of the field, watching him, a big capitalist, in a rolled-up haute couture shirt, turning soil in the patch, fertilizing, sowing seeds, clumsy but extremely earnest. An indescribable surge of emotion filled my heart. Song Wenxuan, I called. He looked up, streak of mud on his forehead.
Yeah?
Ever thought, in the book you're at least the richest in Nanchang, but in the real world, how do you end up farming? He straightened up, wiped his hands on a towel, walked over, stood in front of me. He looked down at me, a smile at the corner of his mouth.
Richest man in Nanchang is just a fake identity, not worth mentioning. But managing Zhoulan's vegetable garden, that identity, I'm willing for a lifetime.
His sweet words gave me a toothache. I reached out and pinched his waist. Can you stop spouting sweet nothings all the time? My heart can't take it.
Exercise more. More in the future.
He pulled me close, chin on my head. First garden vegetables, when they sprouted, already early summer, baby bok choy, chives, tomatoes, and cucumbers. Not as good looking as market ones, exceptionally sweet. The day Qingyin and Lin Yu came for a free meal, I made a table full of dishes with these vegetables: cold cucumber salad, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, stir-fried baby bok choy, and chive pockets. The dishes were simple, but everyone enjoyed them very much. Qingyin picked up bok choy with chopsticks.
Lin, your veggie garden's doing great. Way better than the succulents.
That's right. It's all thanks to Song Wengshuan. I proudly puffed out my chest.
I put my name on it.
Lin Yu looked toward the garden, pushed up his glasses.
Per soil test, this plot's soil isn't that fertile. For such a harvest, Mr. Song in fertilization and irrigation frequency must have worked hard.
Song Wengshuan calmly picked up a piece of chive pocket.
It's nothing. Following the principles of agriculture. That's all.
Rolled my eyes. What? Basic agriculture? To grow these few rows, he read over a dozen farming books and consulted an old farmer from the next village who grew vegetables his whole life. He filled a thick notebook. He treats everything like research. Even growing veggies involves data analysis and controlled experiments. In the hottest summer, the tea house hit slow season. I closed the tea house, took Song Wenchuan and Osmanthus the cat, and took a seaside vacation. First time since Song Wenchuan came to the real world, he saw the ocean. He stood on the beach, gazing at the endless ocean, and remained silent for a long time. I walked over and took his hand. "What's wrong?"
I was thinking,
he said.
Books World has an ocean too, but fake. The ocean and wind are real. You're real too.
I stood on tiptoe and kissed his cheek. "Of course you are real. Do you want me to pinch you to prove it?" He smiled, shook his head. He picked me up, spun me around.
No need. If this is a dream, I don't want to wake.
We stayed at the seaside for 5 days. Each day we got up early to watch sunrise and sunset. During the day, we swam. At night, we strolled on the beach. Song Wenchuan learned to surf. Of course. He again used his usual theory first, practice verification method. He watched instructional videos for 3 days and studied fluid mechanics, then got in the water to practice. On the third day, he could stand on the surfboard. I sat on the beach, watching him ride the waves, and had only one thought in my mind. Was this man really written by me? How come I remember when I created him? I only wrote business genius, but not all-around athlete. Not long after I came back from vacation, I got a phone call. It was from the publisher, waiting for the Wind adaptation wrapped filming, scheduled for National Day slot, and hoped I'd attend the premiere. After I hung up, I felt a little dazed. My own novel was about to be turned into a feature film. It was a strange feeling. When Song Wenchuan found out, he immediately started making arrangements.
Where's the premiere? How many days in advance? Accommodation arranged? What clothes to bring? Need a stylist?
Stop, I pressed his shoulders. President Song, don't be nervous. Just a premiere, not like going to war. He frowned.
To me, you standing in the spotlight is more nerve-wracking than war.
I paused for a moment, then laughed. Don't worry, I'm not some big star. Nobody will notice me. It turned out I was way too naive. On the day of the premiere, I wore a simple dress and walked the red carpet, arm in arm with Song Wengshuan. The flashbulbs went off like crazy. I was almost blinded. Song Wengshuan was expressionless. Hand on my waist, cold gaze sweeping media, like a walking fridge. A reporter dared to ask,
Mr. Song, as Jolan's husband, about the movie Waiting for the Wind, what do you expect?
Song Wengshuan glanced at the reporter and said coolly,
One expectation. My wife is happy.
This interview clip went viral online, with more views than the movie trailer. Netizens commented, the epitome of a walking romance novel male lead. Oh my god, this look, this aura, this statement. I'm dead. Please get married right here. Songa, oh, they're already married. Oh, they're married. The movie was a critical and commercial success. Many readers left comments, saying they cried several times while watching the movie, especially the ending scene. Song Wengshuan traveled to the real world, stood in the yard, looking at Zhou Lan. The whole audience cried. I secretly asked Song Wengshuan, did you watch the movie?
Yes.
Did you cry? He was silent 3 seconds.
No.
Liar. That night when I came out of the cinema, I saw your eyes were red. I poked his cheek. He pulled me into his arms and said in a muffled voice,
Cinema AC too dry. My eyes got uncomfortable.
Oh really? I held back a laugh. Then how do you explain the wad of tissues in your hand? He gave up defending himself, lowered his head and kissed me.
Fine, I cried. Are you satisfied?
I smiled smugly. Satisfied. Even President Song cries. He sighed, buried his face in the crook of my neck.
In front of you, I have no pretense left. Satisfied.
Very satisfied. Days just passed by. Tea house business was up and down, but we didn't care. We had enough money, and life was comfortable. That was enough. Readers came all the way to the small town to sit in the tea house all afternoon, to see the legendary Mr. Song. He brewed tea on time, settled accounts on time, and occasionally even signed autographs for readers. One time, a young girl gathered her courage to ask him,
Mr. Song, you think the Love and Teacher Zhou's book real? I'm taken. Love and book real?
I am taken. He looked at the girl seriously.
I'm taken, but the feelings between me and her, the feelings between us, I'm taken.
She burst into tears. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I thought, this guy, how could he comfort a reader in such a serious way? Later, I used this incident in the afterword of my new book. Title, Love is Real. In autumn, the osmanthus bloomed again. The courtyard was filled with sweet scent. The osmanthus cat rolled under the tree, its fur covered in golden petals, sat on the rattan chair, watching Song Wenxuan sweep leaves in the yard. Sunlight filters through the gaps in the leaves, casting dappled shadows on him. He wears a white cotton linen shirt, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing his toned forearms. The scene is too beautiful, almost unreal. Song Wenxuan, I called. Tell me, if we hadn't crossed over back then, and hadn't been caught up in all those messy plots, would we still have met? He stopped sweeping and thought for a moment.
Yes, we would.
Why are you so sure? He came over, squatted down in front of me, and held my hand.
You are Zhou Lan. I am Song Wenxuan. Whatever world we're in, system or not, I'll always find you.
My nose stung, almost cried again. Don't say anything more, or I'll cry again. He smiled. He reached out and wiped the corner of my eye.
Why are you crying? I won't run away.
I know you won't. I sniffled. I just feel too happy. So happy that it feels unreal. He stood up and pulled me up from the rattan chair, and held me in his arms. He whispered in my ear.
Then don't think if it's real. As long as I'm here, it's real.
Winter came. Jiangnan winter was damp and cold. Tea house business slowed even more. Song Wenxuan closed the door. We stayed home all winter, slept in every day. He cooked. I wrote. Afternoons, tea, and read together. Nights curled up on sofa, watched movies. Iwa got rounder. Curled up by the radiator, purring all day. Living like this too long makes you lazy. Editor kept pressing me for the manuscript, but I just couldn't write. Wasn't writer's block, just didn't want to write. I've fallen. Sprawled on the sofa, said to Song Wenxuan, making tea. I've become a worthless person with no ambition. He brought the tea over and sat down next to me.
You're not worthless. You're on vacation.
Been on vacation 3 months.
Then keep resting.
He handed me the teacup.
We're not short on money.
I took the cup and took a sip. Warmth spread from my stomach to my limbs. Song Wenxuan, we're too decadent.
No. We call this living.
He thought for a moment and said. I was convinced by his logic. I continued to lie flat with a clear conscience. Qingyan and Linyu came to the small town for New Year. Qingyan's belly was slightly swollen. She was pregnant. 4 months. I saw her with her pregnant belly. My eyes reddened again.
Why are you crying? I'm pregnant. Why are you crying?
Qingyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm just happy. I sniffled. Back then, in that world, when pregnant, bullied by Jiang Mingyue, seeing you in a peaceful pregnancy, I can't help but cry. Qingyan's eyes also reddened, but she held back. She smiled and punched me lightly.
Can you stop being so sentimental? I barely controlled my emotions, and now you're making me cry again.
Then just cry. Crying isn't against the law, I said. So the two women hugged each other, crying their eyes out. The two men stood by, looking at each other in bewilderment. Linyu pushed up his glasses.
Is this normal?
He whispered to Song Wenxuan.
Get used to it.
Song Wenxuan said expressionlessly. New Year's Eve dinner, in the tea house courtyard. This time, we didn't let the two men compete secretly, everyone pitched in together. I washed veggies, Qingyan cut them. Linyu helped, Song Wenxuan cooked. We spent the afternoon in the kitchen, preparing a table of dishes. Braised pork belly, steamed sea bass, crab roe tofu, oil braised prawns, sweet and sour spare ribs, garlic broccoli, and free-range chicken soup.
Let's eat.
The table was full of amazing dishes. Qingyan ordered everyone to pick up chopsticks. Osmanthus cat smelled the aroma, and ran out of the house, circling around the table, meowing. Song Wenxuan took a piece of fish, carefully removed the bones, and placed it in the kitten's bowl.
You celebrate New Year too.
He said. Watching him feed the cat, my heart felt warm. This man is as cold as ice to outsiders, but as gentle as water to his own. After dinner, we set off fireworks in the yard. Qingyan was afraid to light them and stayed far away. Linyu stayed with her. I was brave, and I waved a sparkler in the yard, drawing various shapes. Song Wenxuan stood aside, recording on his phone. Stop filming. Come and join us. I shouted at him. He smiled and walked over, taking the sparkler from my hand.
What shape? I'll draw it.
Draw a heart. He held the sparkler and drew a crooked heart in the air. Is that supposed to be a heart? I laughed at him. Your drawing skills are terrible. He put down the sparkler and pulled me into his arms. He said,
Heart shape doesn't matter. What matters is the heart here.
I was charmed by him again, and I punched his chest lightly. Can you stop being so smooth all the time? He kissed my forehead.
I can't. It's instinct.
After the new year, Qingyan and Linyu went back. The town returned to its usual quietness. Started writing my new book seriously. My editor said, If I delayed the manuscript again, they'd come block my doorstep. Song Wenjuan continued to take care of the tea house and the vegetable garden. The days were fulfilling and peaceful. One day, when I was tidying up the study, I came across that old diary, the one Song Wenjuan wrote while time traveling. The one he wrote. I turned to the last page and looked at that line.
Even if I really forgot the whole world, as long as I saw her again, my body's instincts would surely fall for her again.
Tears fell again. Song Wenjuan pushed the door and came in, saw me holding the diary and crying, and sighed.
Why'd you dig this out again?
I want to read it, I said, wiping away my tears. I want to know how much you love me. He walked over and took the diary from my hands and put it on the bookshelf.
You don't need to read that. If you want to know, I can just tell you directly,
he said. Then say it.
Jolan.
He looked into my eyes.
Said, I love you.
He said seriously.
More deeply than any degree you can imagine. Even deeper than that.
I sniffled, satisfied with this answer.
Stop crying.
He smiled and went to the yard to drink tea. Osmanthus blooming. Days passed, year after year. Business was sometimes good, sometimes bad. Harvest was sometimes bountiful, sometimes meager. Iwa the cat grew fatter and fatter. The town had more and more tourists. Everything was changing, but some things never changed. Every morning when I woke up, he was right there beside me. Every night before bed, he would give me a goodnight kiss. Whenever I was sad, he would hold me in his arms. Whenever I was happy, he would so laugh with me. This was the love I wanted. Not passionate or earth-shattering, not full of ups and downs, but gentle, flowing like a stream, a love of daily life, and plain, ordinary days. Another year passed. Qing Yin gave birth to a daughter. The little one looked like Qing Yin, with a round face, big eyes, and was especially cute. When I went to the hospital to see her, holding the baby, my tears started falling again.
Why are you crying again?
Qing Yin lay on the bed, looking at me helplessly. I'm just happy, I sniffled. Your daughter is cute. Qing Yin smiled proudly.
Cute, right? Takes after me.
Lin Yu adjusted his glasses beside me, hesitated to speak. I said it for him. Lin Yu, are you trying to say, according to genetics, that a daughter's looks should take after both parents? Lin Yu nodded. Qing Yin rolled her eyes at him.
Can you not be so serious all the time?
I laughed, and gently placed the baby in the crib.
Doesn't matter who she takes after. She'll be beautiful. She's still your child.
Song Wenchuan stood at the doorway, watching me holding the baby, his gaze as soft as a pool of water. Later, he told me. At that moment, an image came to mind. What image? I asked.
You holding our child,
he said. I was stunned for a moment, then blushed. Who wants to have a child with you? He laughed.
No rush, we'll take it slow. I'll wait until you're ready.
Actually, I had been ready long ago, I just hadn't told him. That autumn, when the osmanthus flowers bloomed again, I told Song Wenchuan, you're going to be a dad. He was making tea, and the purple clay teapot in his hand almost fell to the ground.
What did you say?
He looked at me, his eyes filled with disbelief. I said, you're going to be a dad, I repeated, holding back a laugh. He put down the teapot, walked over, and carefully hugged me. It was like he was afraid of breaking something precious. He buried his face in my neck, his body trembling slightly. I felt something warm and wet drip onto my skin. I asked in surprise, Song Wenchuan, are you crying? He didn't say anything, just held me tighter. This was the second time I'd seen him cry. The first time was when we watched the movie Up in the Wind, the second time is now. So it turns out, this seemingly invincible man has such a tender side. The days of pregnancy were harder than I imagined. Morning sickness, backaches, swelling, insomnia, all the symptoms a pregnant woman could have. I had them all. Song Wenchuan felt so distressed. He wished he could suffer in my place. He cooked different meals for me daily, researching pregnancy recipes. When I couldn't sleep at night, he would massage my legs and chat with me, telling me stories from before he transmigrated here. One night, he said to me,
You know, during the Memory Seal training, I often had a dream.
What dream?
I dreamed you were pregnant, and I was by your side taking care of you.
And then?
And then the dream would end.
He said.
After waking up, there was nothing beside me.
I held his hand tightly. You don't have to dream anymore. This is real now. He bent down and kissed my belly.
Yeah. It's real. Thank you, Jolan.
Thank me for what?
Thank you for giving me a home.
The day I gave birth, Song Wenchuan was more nervous than me, blocked by the doctor outside the delivery room, so anxious he paced the hallway. Qing Yin stayed with him. Later, she told me.
She never saw your husband like that. His face was pale, his hands were shaking.
Had a boy, 6 Jin, 8 Liang, loud cry. When Song Wengswan entered the delivery room, his eyes were red. He walked to the bedside, took my hand, and said in a hoarse voice,
You've worked hard?
It's nothing. Why are you crying? I smiled weakly.
I'm not crying.
Liar. Your eyes are all red. He stopped talking, just lowered his head and kissed my forehead. Then kissed our son's forehead.
Welcome.
He said to our son.
To this family.
We named our son Song Nianlan. Nianlan means missing Zhoulan. It was Song Wengswan who chose this name. At first, I thought it was too direct, but he said,
I want everyone to know how much I miss you.
I stopped objecting. Little Song Nianlan grew up very fast. He could roll over at 3 months, sit up at 6 months, crawl at 8 months, and walk at 1-year-old. Looks like Song Wenxuan, but my personality, easygoing, carefree, loves to laugh, not afraid of strangers. The osmanthus cat was curious about this little master. It always crouched by the crib, watching him. Song Nianlan, for the first time, petted the osmanthus cat, giggling happily. The osmanthus cat was so comfortable from the petting, it purred. Song Wenxuan stood nearby, watching, a slight smile tugging at his mouth.
We're a family of 4,
he said to me. A family of 4. I counted. You, me, our son, and the cat. That's indeed 4. He put his arm around my shoulder.
Said, it's complete.
Days passed by like this. The tea house was still running, but Song Wengswan spent most of his time at home. He said that his career could wait. But a child's growth, once missed, could never be regained. I agreed wholeheartedly. We took Song Nianlan to the veggie garden to plant, to the river to watch fish, and to the old street for the temple fair. The little guy was curious about everything, wanting to touch and taste whatever he saw. Once, when we weren't looking, he grabbed a handful of dirt and stuffed it into his mouth. Scared, I hurried to scoop it out. Song Wengswan, standing nearby, said calmly,
It's okay. Dirt is rich in minerals and probiotics. A little occasionally won't cause major problems.
Can you not explain it with science? My son ate dirt, you know that? I glared at him. He laughed, picked up our son, and wiped the dirt off his face.
Boys are tough. It's fine.
When Song Yanlan was 3 years old, Pingyan brought her daughter to the small town to play. The 2 children hit it off right away, running around the yard, and scared the osmanthus cat into climbing up a tree. Qingyan sat on a rattan chair, watching the 2 children run wild, and said with emotion,
Lanlan, do you ever feel that our life now is like the kind in books? A happy ending?
I thought for a moment.
Maybe,
I said.
But I don't think this is an ending. It's a beginning.
How so?
Because life goes on,
I said.
Children will grow up. We will grow old. And the story never truly has an ending.
Qingyan nodded.
You're right. There's no ending, only continuing.
Song Wenxuan came over with tea. He handed me a cup, and then sat down beside me. He looked at the yard, at the 2 children playing, with a light in his eyes. I asked,
Shin, what you thinking?
I'm thinking,
he said.
If only it could always be this.
It will be.
I held his hand. After putting Song Yanlan to sleep at night, I sat with Song Wengswan in the yard, drinking tea. The osmanthus bloomed again. The whole yard was filled with fragrance. He suddenly called me.
Jolan?
Yeah?
Do you remember that period novel you wrote back then?
Yeah, I remember. So?
What was the ending of that novel?
I thought for a moment and said, the female lead ended up with the male lead, lived happily ever after, he asked.
Our ending?
I looked at him and smiled. So, we'll write our own ending. He smiled too, pulling me into his arms.
Okay, then I'll write it very, very long, until our hair turns white, and our teeth fall out, and we're still together drinking tea and watching the moon.
How many words will you write?
Until system says memory full.
I was amused by him and laughed, leaning against his chest, looking at the moon above. The moonlight was beautiful. The breeze was gentle, and the scent of osmanthus was lovely. This is the ending I wanted. No, this isn't the ending, this is the beginning. It's the beginning of our long and beautiful life.